Chapter 935. Aunt, why don't you surrender? Kneel on the ground and tremble, then lick my toes. Baizé smiled proudly. Since you're willing to be my tailor, you're my servant. Haha, Kong Teichu, you're finally finished. I've been waiting for this day for too long. Chu Yunxiu also laughed crazily, as if Jiang Tian would be played to death by Baizé in the next moment. Kneel? That's a good suggestion. Jiang Tian laughed and pinched his fingers. Suddenly, chi. A few sounds. The feather clothes on Baizé's body suddenly contracted and became as stiff as iron, firmly locking all the joints in his body. The star crown shone brightly, and the crown's star hooks pierced his head. Blood immediately flowed out of his head, and the runes flickered, draining his magic power. The cloud-slashing shoe suddenly became as heavy as 10,000 mountains, dragging him to the ground. Thump! The greater demon, Baizé, fell to the ground with his face first. His nose bled from the fall and he was in a daze. You fell? Chu Yunxiu was dumbfounded and couldn't believe it. Despicable and shameless, you actually plotted against me. Baizé cursed angrily. He struggled with all his might, but the runes shone brightly and firmly imprisoned him. He shouted in shock and fear. It's the demon suppression talisman. You Aunt from Earth actually knows the long-lost demon suppression talisman. And it's not the heavenly star small world's runes. I was actually fooled by you. The more he thought about it, the angrier he became. He shouted angrily. Plotting against me? If you have the guts, let me go and have a fair fight with me. I'm not going to fight with you. It's too tiring. Jiang Tian smiled and said. Submit to me, be my servant, and help me conquer the heavenly star small world. I'll spare your life. Yi Tianren suddenly realized and couldn't help but admire him. The reason why Jiang Tian created the feather robe and star crown and offered it to Baizé was not to curry favor with him, or to form an alliance with him. In fact, it was a type of dermic artifact to restrain him. Although it sounded simple, the great demon Baizé had cultivated for thousands of years and was experienced. He had sharp eyes and it was not easy to make him fall for it. So treacherous. Chu Yunxiu was also dumbfounded. It turned out that the feather clothes, star crown, and cloud shoes that Jiang Tian made were actually a set of restriction artifacts used to plot against the demon king Baizé. It turned out that this brat was using him. That's right. My master has 100 ways to make you wish you were dead. The old dragon gnawed on the bones of the night owl and threatened proudly. Be my master's demon pet obediently. Don't worry, the two of us will be brothers in the future. I, your big brother, will protect you. Jiang Tian smiled faintly and said, Big black dog, you've underestimated me. I have more than 100 techniques. Bah. You've only cultivated for a few years, and you're not worthy of being my brother. The great demon Baizé shouted angrily at the old dragon, and then laughed coldly. Human insect, just use whatever techniques you have. If I blink, I'll be wasting my thousands of years of cultivation. Is that so? Jiang Tian smiled coldly and formed a seal with his fingers. Instantly, streaks of golden light penetrated from the feather robe and star crown. Like sharp thorns, they pierced towards Baizé's internal organs. Ow. It's so painful. Baizé only felt that there were thousands of steel needles piercing his body. His internal organs seemed to be stirred by steel knives, and the bones all over his body creaked. You think you can do anything to me? Baizé roared and used his demon technique. Instantly, his body shrunk rapidly, like a baby. However, as he shrunk, the feather robe and cloud shoes also shrunk, still tightly constricting him. Especially his waist, it was about to become as thick as a thumb, as if it would completely shatter in the next moment. Roar! Break it! The great demon Baizé's face was flushed red. Yellow light shone brightly around him, and his body expanded continuously. Suddenly, with a muffled bang, he reverted to his original form. His original form was 1,000 feet long like a small mountain. He had the body of a lion, and the head of a dragon. There were 2 long curved horns that were dozens of meters long on his head, and he looked extraordinarily mighty and terrifying. His body expanded, but the feather robe and star crown did not expand with him. With a series of cracking sounds, the great demon Baizé immediately heard the sound of his ribs breaking. In particular, his essence spirit was also penetrated by the spirit consciousness nails emitted by the golden star crown. It was so painful that his head almost exploded. The great demon Baizé shrunk his body hurriedly. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth as he shouted angrily, "If not for this robe, you can't beat me. I'm just indignant. Just use whatever methods you have. I'll seal my acupoints and meridians. Even if you crush me into meat paste, I won't bow down to a weak insect like you. Oh my, you've got quite a temper." Jiang Tian made a series of hand gestures, and all kinds of torture came one after another. The feather robe and star crown were sometimes as cold as an ice house, sometimes as hot as magma, sometimes as twisted as a fried dough twist, and sometimes as round as a mile, kneading Baizé like dough. The torture lasted for 15 minutes, but even though Baizé was bleeding all over, he just closed his eyes and did not make a sound. "You're really tough." Jiang Tian gave up and laughed. Baizé opened his eyes and stared at Jiang Tian. His eyes were disdainful as he said resentfully, "Humph, I've cultivated for 1,000 years and my ability is omnipotent. Sooner or later, I'll come up with a solution. When I regain my freedom, I'll teach you well, and let you lick my toes." "Lick my toes? You're really a genius. That's a good suggestion." Jiang Tian laughed and made another hand gesture. Suddenly, the feather robe wriggled and the star crown shone. Baizé was controlled by the feather robe, and involuntarily knelt down. He crawled towards Jiang Tian, and stuck out his tongue to lick Jiang Tian's shoes. "What are you doing? Demons can be killed but not humiliated. Don't, give me a quick slash." Baizé hurriedly shouted, "Stop, stop, don't. I'll submit." Jiang Tian stopped his hand gesture. Suddenly, the feather robe and Baizé felt relaxed and returned to his human form. Jiang Tian laughed and said, "You can move now." "I won't move. I'll only move if I believe you. You must be playing with me." Baizé sneered. It had been playing with eagles all its life, but in the end, it was pecked in the eye by a small family. It was being bullied by dogs in the demon plains. "Baizé, do you still want to lick my toes?" Jiang Tian threatened in a light voice. Baizé was shocked and jumped up. He spat a few times and did not dare to be presumptuous anymore. Jiang Tian smiled calmly and said, "Baizé, I heard that you are in charge of an ancient battlefield ruins and only you can enter. Is that right?" Before Jiang Tian killed Feng Jingqiang, he used the Soul Devourer to seize his soul and memories. He knew that there was an ancient battlefield ruins here. His bronze chariots and warships, as well as the ability to summon the 8-armed demon god, were also obtained from here. Even the remnant soul of the demon god was born in this ancient battlefield ruins. "What ruins? I don't know." Baizé looked up at the sky with a confused expression. Jiang Tian made another hand gesture. "I'll take you there now, okay? It's just a pile of junk. What's so great about it?" Baizé said angrily. Soon, Baizé led everyone to a valley in Crimson Thunder Mountain. He used a secret technique to break the many seals. Suddenly, a long and narrow valley appeared. Solitary Sword Valley, this is it. Coincidentally, Solitary Sword Valley was the core area of the spiritual energy tide. The demon beasts here were also the most ferocious. Jiang Tian frowned and looked around. In the huge valley, there were many marks of swords and arrows. Even after thousands of years, they still had not disappeared. Moreover, this place was gray. Even if Jiang Tian activated his divine sense, he could only scan a few hundred meters away. This is the remnant of divine sense and killing intent. It seems that there were nascent soul, and even soul formation experts who fought here. Otherwise, it would not have been preserved for so long. Jiang Tian saw this and was secretly shocked. There were many dilapidated bronze chariots here. Some were even made with the precious metal of the immortal world. Some were even more than 1,000 meters long. Even if they were rotten, they were still majestic and intimidating. This belongs to the refining techniques of modern cultivators. And the characters are not human characters. Jiang Tian sighed with a long gaze. Feng Jingqiang's bronze chariots and ancient warships all had kinetic reaction furnaces. They used energy stones similar to the energy stones used in exploding crystals to create kinetic energy. This was no longer a classical cultivator's artifact, but a modern one. Bai Zai, where did these chariots come from? And where did you come from? Jiang Tian suddenly asked. Bai Zai had a lifespan of 1,000 years. It should be the oldest creature on this continent, even older than the Starry Sky Palace. The information it knew should be the most authentic secret of this continent. This information is too old. I don't remember it. Bai Zai lay lazily on the mountain rock. It looked like it would not say anything even if it was beaten to death. Jiang Tian was furious. He shouted angrily. If you want to lick my toes, don't say it. If you don't want to, say it now. You think I'm afraid of you? Bai Zai sneered, but it had already opened its mouth. I'm the ruler of this continent. If you want to ask me for advice, you'd better be humble. Humble? I'll let you be humble. Jiang Tian laughed and formed a hand seal. I'll say it, okay? You're too impatient. Bai Zai glared at Jiang Tian and hurriedly said, speaking of which, it's been a few thousand years. I'm just a little demon very young. This continent has already been formed. My master is the master of this continent. He's already a nascent soul cultivator, and is known as the master of the holy heavens. In this starry sky, there was an ancient starry sky path that led directly to the ruins of immortality. But one day, the devil race came to attack. Jiang Tian heard this and suddenly moved. Was there really a spatial portal that led directly to the ruins of immortality? Chapter 936. However, according to what Jiang Haishan and the others had said, there was only a teleportation formation that led to the third-level secret sect. The devil race is very powerful. They can devour everything. Even though my heavenly god sect master is a nascent soul realm cultivator, he is still no match for him. In a moment of desperation, he had no choice but to destroy the teleportation formation and sever the ancient starry sky path. Bai Zai said smugly, this solitary sword valley was left behind by my master's strike. Amazing, right? Jiang Tian looked around. This gorge was about 10 miles long, and it was actually formed by someone's sword. He was indeed a nascent soul cultivator. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to slash apart a 10-mile-wide mountain with a single slash. The Holy Heavens sect leader was truly amazing. However, the intruder was no match for him. It could be seen how powerful the invaders were. Master also perished in that battle. However, I have Master's legacy. After several years, I finally condensed a Yao core and took human form. Moreover, I've become the master of the Stellar Sky Palace. Bai Zai sighed. Oh, how did it fall into the hands of Yuan Tiangang? Jiang Tian asked curiously. Yuan Tiangang is nothing. He's just a member of the Dragon Protector clan. Bai Zai's eyes were filled with arrogance as he laughed in disdain. Dragon Protector clan? Jiang Tian was puzzled. In other words, they are the families that guard the royal family of each dynasty. For example, those imperial preceptors, grand preceptors, trusted aides, and so on. Great Demon Bai Zai looked at Jiang Tian in surprise and gave him a look that said, Jiang Tian is ignorant. However, at that time, not to mention the Yuan family of the Dragon Protector, even the Li family of the Imperial family, which was the ancestor of Li Longyuan in the Tang dynasty, was just my disciple's 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 disciple. You lick my toes every day. His face was filled with pride as he spoke. Then how did you lose the Heavenly Star Palace? Looking at his arrogant look, the veins on Jiang Tian's forehead twitched as he asked murderously. I don't care. Bai Zai's face flushed red, and then he laughed with disdain and said proudly, I want to conquer the sea of stars, the vast universe. A mere heavenly star small world is nothing to me. Jiang Tian could tell that he was a man with a story when he saw the resentment in his shyness. Nothing unusual happened during the day. It was inevitable that there would be internal strife, plots, and struggles within the sections. In the cultivation world, such things were not uncommon. Bai Zai, do you have any treasures? Can you lend me some? Jiang Tian smiled and said, what I need the most now is would attribute great herbs and spirit plants. The more the better. The ancient warships and many broken artifacts and divine weapons here could be used after some repairs. However, this was not what Jiang Tian valued the most. What Jiang Tian wanted was to further his cultivation. It would be best if his green dragon mystic water divine body could produce a wood elemental divine body. This would require a wood elemental divine, with spiritual plant as a primer. Lend to you? I'm afraid you're borrowing but not returning it? Bai Zhe snorted angrily, but he had already stood up and said, "There's a tree demon nearby. A few thousand years ago, it was on par with the leader of the Heavenly God sect. Back then, the leader of the Heavenly God sect had to join forces with a few nascent soul realm cultivators to suppress it. Later, the tree demon broke free during the Great War of Immortals and Demons. I joined forces with many top experts to suppress it again. That tree demon is very strong. It must be very nutritious. However, I'm afraid you can't eat it." "Haha, there's nothing in this world that I can't eat." Jiang Tian sneered and scanned with his divine sense. "Alright then, come with me. After passing through the solitary Sword Valley, you'll reach the chaotic Cloud Valley. There's a lake there, and that tree demon is by the lake." Bai Zhe sneered and led Jiang Tian into the depths of the solitary Sword Valley. There were traces of lightning burns on the dark mountain walls. The mountain path was winding and bumpy. On both sides of the mountain walls, huge trees covered the sky. It was as if they had broken free of the earth's magnetic force. Grass grew out of the ground like swords and halberds, interweaving into a chaotic network. It was as if they had entered an upside-down and chaotic world. It was as if the cliff was the ground. The thick trees were extremely ancient. Some of them couldn't even be hugged by 10 people. Their roots were intertwined like dragons. Ghost flames could be seen under the roots. They were the bones of huge beasts. Some of the bones were so mutated that Jiang Tian couldn't recognize them. Strangely, these bones were on the cliff and not at the bottom of the valley. The leaves that fell from the trees also didn't fall to the bottom of the valley. Instead, they fell on the cliff. This valley was surprisingly clean. There weren't any rotten leaves. Dong. The large black dog accidentally bumped into a large rock that was floating in the air. The rock spun and flew to the side, still floating in the air. "The rock is floating. What's going on?" The large black dog was surprised. Back then, the Heavenly God sect master destroyed the teleportation formation and the gravity simulation formation. Moreover, the gravity formation here was damaged the most. Jiang Tian said calmly. "Rumble." There was a loud noise. Suddenly, bolts of lightning as thick as buckets struck the forest. The huge trees that were struck instantly emitted black smoke and were charred black. However, the strange thing was, with a light pop, green sprouts emerged from the charred huge trees and grew rapidly. This must be the thunder meteorite wood. It can be used to create thunder element dharma treasures. It's priceless on Earth, but it can be seen everywhere here. This is the hidden power of this small world. Yi Tianren couldn't believe it. He was deeply moved. According to Jiang Tian's deduction, many of the hidden sects were continents that were separated from the ancient Earth. According to the cultivators of the Stellar Sky Domain, there were dozens of hidden sects like the Stellar Sky Domain. The biggest hidden sect's mystic realm, the Ruins of Immortality, was even bigger than all the other dimensions combined. How big was the ancient Earth? Even if the current Earth expanded by 10 times, it still wouldn't be comparable. Rustling sounds could be heard. In the forest, scorpions and strange insects that were taller than humans appeared from time to time. They bared their fangs and claws at Jiang Tian and the others. "Humans. Roast it until it's medium well. It's definitely delicious. It's not fresh anymore when it's medium well. It's best to roast it over a fire. Once the hair is roasted, it can be eaten. It even squeaks when you eat it. It's the most delicious." "Bullshit. Medium well is still the best." "Shh. Don't talk. The Demon King is here too. Maybe it's his friend." There were also huge demonic beasts that stuck their heads out to look. They had strange shapes and had fierce eyes. Their long saliva trailed on the ground as they discussed. However, when they saw the Demon King Bai Zhe, these poisonous insects and strange beasts all showed fear in their eyes. They either crawled on the ground, trembled, or retreated like the tide. "Hey, this flower is so beautiful." The old dragon looked around happily. Suddenly, he saw a huge flower with colorful flowing lights emerging from the mountain wall. It immediately attracted his attention. This flower was the size of a water tank. It emitted a purple light and was crystal clear as if it was carved from a gem. It illuminated the space within a radius of a few hundred meters. The flower, branches, leaves, and stem swayed and twisted gently. It was as if a flower fairy was dancing. It was extremely beautiful and moving. It smells so good. Master, can I pick it and give it to mistress? The large black dog acted cute. It stood up like a human, stuck its head out, closed its eyes, and breathed in the fragrance of the big purple flower. Suddenly, with a whoosh, the big purple flower's stem and leaves curved out like a poisonous snake. The huge flower instantly swallowed the old dragon's head. The petals closed tightly and picked him up. Master, save me. I'm going to die. The old dragon's 4 dog paws tried to pull at the petals, but he couldn't pull them apart at all. Bang, bang, bang. He tried to transform into his dragon form. The essence chi in his body surged and expanded rapidly. However, he was immediately beaten back into his black dog form by the flower. Alright, Z, this is a guest. Don't be rash. Demon King Baize frowned and shouted in a low voice. The purple flower spat out the large black dog on the ground. It used its roots as 4 limbs and hopped away. Then, the roots of its legs stabbed into the mountain rocks and soil again. It swayed and danced as it waited for its prey. The large black dog was so scared that his face turned pale. His eyes were filled with fear, and his body was covered in sticky purple liquid. The liquid was very corrosive and fell to the ground. Instantly, it burned the mountain rocks and made crackling sounds. Green smoke rose and holes appeared on the rocks. The group continued forward. This kind of purple flower appeared more and more. Some of the flowers were piles of white bones, some were half-melted corpses, and some were still alive. However, they were already on the verge of death. They were all Foundation establishment cultivators. Yi Tianren was secretly shocked. This place was indeed dangerous. No wonder the rebels and bandits of Demon Cave Mountain didn't dare to enter easily. Are you embarrassed? You were almost eaten by someone. Jiang Tian looked at the large black dog mockingly. That was when I was unprepared. Otherwise, I might not have lost. The old dragon frowned and said stubbornly. At this time, Jiang Tian noticed that the first stone tablet had appeared in the canyon. This stone tablet was more than 10 meters tall and had runes carved on it. Jiang Tian glanced at it and smiled. Baize, you're not bad. Although you're a demon, you know demon suppressing runes. Hehe, there's no demon that I can't suppress. Otherwise, how could I be the demon king that dominates this land? I'm very proficient in demon suppressing runes. Baize said proudly. The demon suppressing runes you carved are too crude. Jiang Tian shook his head and said disdainfully. Baize's eyes flashed fiercely. It wanted to swallow Jiang Tian whole, but when it thought of the terrifying feather robe, star crown and cloud shoes, it could only give up. Moreover, you didn't recognize the demon-suppressing runes on the feather robe, star crown, and cloud shoes I gave you. You put them on so happily. Jiang Tian said casually as if he was taking a stroll. Baize wanted to cry but had no tears. However, it had to admit that its attainment in runes was not comparable to Jiang Tian's at all. It didn't even recognize the demon-suppressing runes. It thought they were protective runes. It was no wonder. Jiang Tian had mixed the protective runes with the demon-suppressing runes. The two complemented each other like salt in water. It was untraceable. Perhaps even the most powerful rune masters in the heavenly star small world couldn't recognize them. Isn't it just a demon? Why are there so many demon-suppressing stone tablets? Why are there so many? At this time Chu Yunxiu exclaimed. Suddenly, she saw the demon-suppressing stone tablets appear one after another. At a glance, there were dozens of them. Were they suppressing dozens of great demons? Is this a tree demon? When everyone walked out of the solitary Sword Valley, they couldn't help but gasp. It was a circular valley with a radius of more than 10 miles. There was a big tree beside a lake. The tree was hundreds of meters tall. Its branches were like giant umbrellas that covered the sky and the sun, covering an area with a radius of about 1 mile. The surroundings of the giant tree were densely packed with demon-suppressing stone tablets. There were about hundreds of them. They couldn't see the end of them. They surrounded the big tree and the lake. Chapter 937. It's just a tree demon. Baizé looked at Jiang Tian and said slowly, "But you need hundreds of demon-suppressing monuments to suppress it. This tree demon's cultivation level is no lower than mine. At that time, in order to subdue and suppress him, dozens of my friends all died. Immortal Master Jiang, do you still dare?" Chu Yunxia was shocked. Could this giant tree be that monster? It was so big, it was too scary. This tree demon's cultivation level was probably at the nascent soul level, or even the nascent soul level. It's so big. Brother Jiang, I think those bronze chariots are worth a lot. Let's forget about this tree demon. It's too scary. Cold sweat broke out on Xiaoyingluo's forehead. Master, you must be careful. Yi Tianren looked serious. He stared at the giant tree and the densely packed demon-suppressing monuments and said in a low voice, "This tree demon is full of demonic qi. I'm afraid it's not an ordinary thing. Why don't you wait until your cultivation level is higher before refining it? It's indeed not an ordinary thing." Jiang Tian's expression also changed slightly. He looked at the tree seriously and couldn't calm down. Although it was full of demonic qi and even revealed traces of demonic qi, this was not a tree demon but a very rare dancing tree. The dancing tree was also called the creation tree. Like the water of life, it was a divine object at the beginning of the chaos. When a star was born, it would first produce the 5 basic elements of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. With these elements as the foundation, it would cycle endlessly and give birth to other life forms. The basic water element was usually the water of life, origin water, mystic water, and other divine water. The basic wood element was usually the dancing tree, the Bodhi divine tree, or the natural green spirit wood. They contained unparalleled vitality and represented wisdom, power, and immortality. According to legend, Sakyamuni, the leader of the Buddhist sect on earth, had meditated for 7 days and 7 nights under a Bodhi tree. He had gained wisdom, gained enlightenment, and became a Buddha. Then the most important sect in the East was born. If the Bodhi tree represented wisdom, then the dancing tree represented strength and vitality. In the world of cultivators, and even in the heavenly realm, some experts would use the whirling tree as the skeleton and support of the planet when they were condensing stars, creating small worlds, or even creating a universe, in order to stabilize the continent and energy. After the star had stabilized, it would be extracted or refined into infinite vitality to nourish the entire planet or world. The whirling tree in front of him was at least several thousand years old. It might not have been formed when the ancient earth was created. It could be said that the swaying divine tree was a famous wood elemental treasure in the cultivation world. Not to mention that this tree was thousands of years old. The wood elemental spiritual energy contained in it was extremely vast and majestic. It was even more abundant than all the wood elemental treasures that Jiang Tian had gathered in the earth realm. The spirit core produced by this divine tree alone was enough to help Jiang Tian break through to the middle and late stages of the foundation establishment realm. Moreover, it was definitely a descendant of the divine tree, and could be used as a catalyst for Jiang Tian to evolve into a wood elemental divine body. Jiang Tian's current cultivation was not high enough, and he was in urgent need of cultivation resources. Even if a golden core or nascent soul stage expert saw this wood elemental treasure, he would not be able to move. However, this swaying divine tree had been contaminated with a lot of demonic qi during the invasion of the gods and devils. Later, because many of the arrays had been destroyed by the heavenly god Sex Master, the miasma here had exploded. It had absorbed a lot of miasma, so it had taken on a demonic form. Jiang Tian could not swallow it directly. He had to use a cultivation technique to completely refine it before he could swallow it. Maybe I can use that method to completely absorb this tree demon. No matter if it's the demonic qi or the wood elemental essence, none of it will be wasted. Jiang Tian frowned and pondered. Many valves to refine the demonic qi and demonic qi appeared in his mind. He gradually made up his mind. Haha, you don't dare to remove the demon-suppressing monument, right? You're afraid of this tree demon, aren't you? Chu Yunxiu cast a sidelong glance at Jiang Tian, her eyes full of contempt. She had been bullied badly by Jiang Tian these days. Especially when the big demon Bai Zhe was defeated by Jiang Tian. She felt even more defeated. At this time, seeing Jiang Tian's serious expression, she immediately thought that Jiang Tian did not have the ability to resist this tree demon. She wanted to provoke Jiang Tian into removing the demon-suppressing monument. Maybe the tree demon would regain its freedom and kill Jiang Tian. Before Jiang Tian could speak, a cry for help suddenly came from the lake in the distance. Help, help. The old dragon jumped onto the monument and looked listlessly. There's a woman taking a bath. Taking a bath? Is she drowning? Didn't you hear her call? Xiaoying Luo chuckled. She's taking a bath. When have you seen someone drowning and taking off all their clothes? The big black dog picked his nose and flicked out a stream of booger. Taking off all my clothes. I'm prettier than the girls in the spring fragrance brothel. Immortal Master Jiang, why don't you hurry up and take a look? Bai Zhe immediately rose into the air, jumped onto the stone tablet, and said with a smile. There was a naked woman in the lake. Her figure was enchanting and curvy, and she was extremely attractive. Brother Jiang is a gentleman. He won't look. Xiao Yingluo snorted, full of confidence in Jiang Tian. Jiang Tian did not look at the woman in the lake. He used his divine sense to explore and frowned, thinking about how to refine the demonic aura. Sir outside, quickly come and save me. I just need to push down that monument. The woman screamed. If I can be saved, I'll repay you with my body. Kong Teichu, why don't you hurry up and save her? Chu Yunxiu said mockingly. Jiang Tian's thoughts were interrupted, and he couldn't help but frown. The old dragon flicked a stream of booger at Chu Yunxiu's face and snorted. Don't make trouble. At this moment, boom. Streaks of golden Buddha light pierced through the void like shooting stars. Eminent monks stepped on colorful golden lotuses and cut through the sky, sliding toward Jiang Tian. Splash! The woman in the lake glanced at the golden light, and her expression changed drastically. She dived into the water and disappeared. Abbot Pudu of the Demon Subduing Temple greets the #1 person on earth. Demon Cave Mountain Master, Kong Teichu. Master Pudu landed on the ground and walked over slowly. He put his palms together and bowed with a kind face. His body was huge, and streaks of golden Buddha light shone behind his head like a ring, very dazzling. Behind him was Zen Master Deshin, whom Jiang Tian had seen before, and many arhats, vajras and protectors. There were as many as 300 people. Even though Zen Master Deshin was already at the 3rd level of the Foundation Establishment realm, he was ranked last here. The others were all people of the generation of his martial uncles. Almost all of them were at the perfected Foundation Establishment realm, not far from the false core realm. When they arrived, the miasma immediately retreated, and the demonic chi dissipated. The wind was gentle, the clouds drifted, and the golden light shone. Even the lightning in the sky didn't dare to strike this area. The Demon Subduing Temple was indeed one of the 3 major sects under the Heavenly Star Palace. It had many experts and a deep foundation, even surpassing the huge cities like the border cities. Master Pudu, may I know why you are looking for me? Jiang Tian didn't hit a smiling person. He returned the greeting and nodded at Zen Master Deshin. However, Yi Tianren's expression was grave, and he was somewhat wary. Master Pudu had brought all the experts of the Demon Subduing Temple with him this time. It was obvious that they didn't come with good intentions, and intended to attack. Master Pudu smiled and said, I'm here to resolve a dispute and return peace to the 2 worlds. I hope that Benefactor Jiang will let go of your grudges, and convert to Buddhism. You will definitely attain the Tao. This is a great kindness. Beside him, the great demon Bai Zhe chuckled and said with a sinister voice transmission with his divine sense, he's trying to take advantage of you. He wants to take advantage of this opportunity to take you and the entire Demon Cave Mountain into his Demon Subduing Temple, and strengthen his sect's strength. Now that the Demon Subduing Temple has obtained the border cities, they are quite powerful. I've seen this little bald thief before. He was still an innocent little monk. How did he become so ambitious now? Immortal Master Jiang, Can you disperse the dermic powers of my star-crowned feather coat and cloud-slashing boots? Let's get rid of these little bald donkeys together. How about that? Jiang Tian ignored Bai Zhe and looked at Pudu with a faint smile. I really admire you for being willing to resolve your grudges for the sake of the people of the world. But why don't you let Li Longyuan convert to your demon-subduing temple first? Why should I, Kong Teichu, be the one to convert? Master Pudu's face stiffened. He then chanted the name of Buddha and said, Immortal Master Jiang, your cultivation is too weak. You are no match for Li Longyuan. If you insist on doing things your own way, you will definitely be killed by Li Longyuan. Moreover, your desire to kill is too strong. If you don't repent before Buddha, you will definitely become a demon one day. If you ask me, Li Longyuan's demonic heart is even stronger. Not only is he militaristic in this world, but he also wants to invade Earth. Jiang Tian said calmly, I've only killed a few people. Including those on Earth. Are there 10,000 people? Li Longyuan has killed hundreds of thousands of people, hasn't he? If you want to convert people, then go convert Li Longyuan. He needs to be converted more than I do. When Master Pudu saw the two pretty little girls beside Jiang Tian, he shouted, Don't worry, Jiang Tian. Immortal Master Jiang, are you greedy for the beauty of the mortal world and worldly power? You have to know that all of this is like a pink skeleton, a stinky skin, a dream, and the fruit of the sin of marriage. In the end, it's all in vain. Old bald thief, don't talk nonsense. Jiang Tian snorted. I love this mortal world. So what? I'm giving you face by calling you master. I have something important to do. Get out of my way. If you talk nonsense again, I'll overturn your demon-subduing temple and wash your bald people with blood. Chapter 938. No Buddha in your heart. Devil. Greedy for the mortal world. Idiot. Too murderous. Sinful. The monks' expressions changed drastically. They couldn't sit still anymore. They chanted Buddha's name and yelled at Jiang Tian. Suddenly, dark clouds gathered. The golden light turned murderous, and a murderous aura filled the surroundings. Only Bai Zhe snickered, eager for the two sides to fight. Devil? Idiot. I'm sinful? Jiang Tian didn't want to pay attention to these old bastards, but when he saw them standing on the moral high ground, he couldn't help but be annoyed. He raised his eyebrows and asked, Master Pudu, eminent monks, let me ask you. If everyone becomes a monk, doesn't work, doesn't get married, and doesn't have children, will the human race be extinct in 100 or 1,000 years? Humans have no grudges with you. Why do you want to exterminate the human race? The monks were stunned and tongue-tied. The muscles on Pudu's cheeks twitched. He said coldly, Benefactor, you're bewitched. The demon-subduing temple has never turned people into monks. I'm talking about your military campaigns, and the people of the world. What's the difference between me killing a few people and exterminating the human race? Jiang Tian asked. You, Master Pudu, and the monks were speechless. They were angry and embarrassed. Only Zen Master De Xian seemed to be in deep thought. Okay, let's not talk about that for now. I'll ask you again. Jiang Tian asked. I heard that the demon-subduing temple kills thousands of demons every year, but you preach mercy and don't kill. Was that demonic beast alive or not? Are they living? Demons are not our kind. The weak are prey to the strong. They should be killed. An Arhat roared. You eat grains and plants. Are plants and grains alive? Are you a prey to the strong? Jiang Tian asked. This is not the same thing. This Arhat was called Puzhao. He was Pudu's junior brother. He had a deep understanding of Buddhism and was best at Zen meditation. He often used questions and answers to lead people to become Buddhas. At this moment, he was questioned by Jiang Tian to the point that cold sweat broke out on his forehead, and he was speechless. Jiang Tian took out a spiritual herb seed and channeled the green dragon mystic water technique to create fortune. Immediately, the seed germinated and spat out green leaves, forming branches. The leaves were green and lustrous, and flower buds emerged from them. With a pop, the flower bloomed, tender and beautiful. Is it beautiful? Jiang Tian asked softly with a trace of affection in his eyes. Beautiful. That Pu Zhao's eyes were a little infatuated as he said in a daze. Jiang Tian handed the flower to him and said indifferently, "The seeds of flowers are the same as food. They both have life. How many lives have you eaten in your life? When will you repay them?" If they had a spirit and absorbed the spiritual energy of heaven and earth to become demons, they would probably cry and shout, "You killed billions of their kind?" Have you ever thought that billions of souls of plants and creatures would surround you, crying and howling at you day and night? You all say that all living things are equal, that flowers and plants have spirits, but when they become demons, you all want to subdue demons, get rid of demons, and defend the Tao. Don't they feel wronged? As soon as Jiang Tian finished speaking, the scene became deathly silent. That Pu Zhao held the flower in his hand, and his body trembled violently. His expression became more and more fearful, as if the flower had turned into an evil spirit that wanted to take his life. Suddenly he fell to the ground and wailed, "I've eaten countless of your kind. My sins are deep and difficult to resolve. I'm willing to become a pile of ashes to raise you." After he finished speaking, countless karmic flames ignited around his body, instantly burning him into ashes. His magic power was deep and profound, and the flower was not harmed at all. It fell into the ashes, but it was still bright and glistening, gently swaying. "Senior brother Pu Zhao, you're silly." Everyone was dumbfounded. They didn't dare to believe it and couldn't say a word. "Kong Techu, you said that you killed people because of evil arts. You're slandering Buddha. Your sins are unforgivable." Only after a few seconds did a few high monks shout out in shock and despair. "You can eat plants and flowers, so why can't flowers eat you?" Jiang Tian said calmly. "What's the difference between him sacrificing himself to feed the flower, and the Buddha cutting his flesh to feed the eagle, and the ancient Moko Saching sacrificing himself to feed the tiger in the Ksitigarbha Sutra? In the legend, Moko Saching later became Buddha, and I helped Pu Zhao become Buddha. Why do you blame me? Why do you say that Pu Zhao is silly? Maybe in your hearts you think that it's meaningless. Then why do you cultivate Buddhism?" Jiang Tian's words were actually very suspicious of sophistry, but it was something that many eminent monks had never thought of, and it had a great impact on them. The monks' minds shook and evil thoughts appeared. Their Buddhist hearts were damaged and their expressions changed drastically. Cold sweat broke out on their bodies, and they all chanted incantations to suppress their inner demons. There was even a monk who suddenly took off his monk robe and pulled out his prayer beads. He flew into the air and roared loudly, "I'm used to killing and burning. I've been abstaining from meat and praying to Buddha all these years. I only feel that I've lived in vain. Now that I've heard Cultivator Tai Chu's words, I feel that I've lived my life in vain. I'm going to renounce asceticism. Don't listen to his nonsense. It's all about the fiend path." The light of Buddha behind Master Pudu shone brightly as he shouted, trying to wake the monks up. "The law of the jungle is not a problem at all. Eating is just a kind of instinct." Jiang Tian's eyes flashed with a trace of vicissitudes. He said coldly, "But in this world, some people and some ideas are even more terrifying than the law of the jungle. Many people have food to eat, but they still want to kill, invade and control others, because they can get endless pleasure from killing, controlling and bullying. That's the scary thing. The demons you're suppressing are not true demons. The demons you're killing are not evil demons. How can you talk about eliminating demons and protecting the Tao?" "Kong Techu, what a sharp-tongued man," Master Pudu shouted and then said, "You'll go to hell in your next life if you continue to act recklessly like this." "Act recklessly?" Jiang Tian smiled and said casually, "I'm fighting for the safety of the 6 billion people on Earth. Why is that considered acting recklessly? Should the human race on Earth be killed by the Sky Star Palace, the other hidden sects and the ruins of deity? If the world of the hidden sects invades Earth, Earth will become hell. Then, did all the humans on Earth commit sins in their previous lives? Since we're already in the dark hell, why should we be afraid of hell? I only want to fight with you and go to hell together." "And the next life?" Jiang Tian revealed a mocking expression and said, "I don't want any blessings in my next life or to live a glorious life. I don't want to go to the Western paradise either. I only want to travel 1,000 miles with a sword in this life, drink the strongest wine, ride the fastest flying sword and kill the most ruthless people. I only want to live a vigorous and happy life now. Asking for the next life is just a coward's behavior that doesn't dare to face in this life. It's just a trick to scare people in the next life. Master, why do I suddenly feel that immortal Master Jiang is making a lot of sense? Zen Master Dashin said with a confused face. Bullshit. He's misleading people with his lies. He's just messing with people's minds. Master Pudu snorted. He doesn't have the root of wisdom. Master Pudu shook his head and sighed. Whoever wants to have it will have it. I don't care about having it. Jiang Tian smiled mockingly, unmoved. Humph. This person has killed without restraint and has repeatedly stirred up bloodshed. He even said that he would kill senior brother Pu Zhao and slandered Buddha. Master, kill him. Yes, Master. Punishing evil is promoting good. Today, we'll kill this bastard and get rid of the evil. Quite a few monks were furious, killing intent surging. They wanted to attack Jiang Tian and kill him all. Even Master Pudu wanted to kill him in an instant. Zen Master Dashin quickly knelt and begged. Master, you promised me that you would never threaten immortal Master Jiang. He saved me before. Jiang Tian glanced at Zen Master Dashin and had a good impression of him. This kid was quite humane. All right, immortal Master Jiang. I know that you're the most powerful person on earth. You've been undefeated your whole life. Master Pudu thought for a moment and suppressed his anger. He smiled and said, but the Buddhist Dharma of the demon-subduing temple is boundless. It's not something you can imagine. How about this? This tree demon's Dharma is powerful. I'll convert him with my Buddhist Dharma, and you use your own methods to subdue him. If I win, you'll be my registered disciple. You'll abstain from meat and chant Buddhist scriptures for 30 years to resolve the evil in your heart. You'll kill less in the future. If you can subdue him, then I'll be considered inferior to you. You can do whatever you want with me. Master Pudu, I'm afraid that you won't be able to subdue and convert this tree demon. Instead, you'll be killed. I think you'd better be careful. Jiang Tian said lightly. I have my ways to get rid of the demon-subduing monument. Benefactor Jiang, are you afraid to take the risk? Master Pudu's tone was light, but his face was full of arrogance. He clearly meant that Kong Techu might not be able to do it, but the demon-subduing temple might be able to. I'm just afraid that you won't dare to take the risk. Master, we need to be more cautious, Zen Master Dashin said nervously. I heard that this tree demon is very fierce and terrifying. Once, a powerful person from the Heavenly Star Palace came here and was bewitched and devoured by it. Dashin, you only know one thing but not the other. Master Pudu smiled and said, this tree demon has actually been subdued twice by the leader of the Heavenly God sect and the great demon Bai Zhe. The leader of the Heavenly God sect and the great demon Bai Zhe are not kind people, so they must have subdued a good demon. Yi Tianren glanced at Bai Zhe. Don't Master Pudu and the others know Bai Zhe? They're not even in the same generation as me. Speaking of which, his grandmaster is barely in the same generation as me. How can Master Pudu know me? Bai Zhe smiled coldly and sent a voice transmission to Jiang Tian. However, in addition to the Heavenly Star Palace, the demon-subduing temple also tried to harm me back then. I just don't know if it's this little bald donkey's master, or his grandmaster. How can they say good things about me now? They only have interests in their eyes. What good and evil do they have? Chapter 939. Master. The Exian wanted to say something but stopped. He felt it was inappropriate. Get rid of the demon-suppressing monument. Pudu wanted to intimidate Jiang Tian. How could he be weak? He didn't care at all. At this time, the woman in the lake popped her head out of the water again. Half of her shoulders were exposed. She said in a sad voice, Senior monk, I was suppressed by Bai Zhe for hundreds of years. Our hatred is as deep as the ocean. We can't live under the same sky. Senior monk, please save me. I'll repay you with my body. Pudu smiled bitterly and said loudly, I'm a monk. I don't need you to repay me with your body. From now on, you will abstain from eating meat and recite Buddhist scriptures. You will no longer harm others. I'll break the seal here and let you out. I'm willing to convert. The woman was surprised and overjoyed. Jiang Tian frowned and said, Master Pudu, if you let this monster out, it may be even more terrifying than Bai Zhe. It will bring chaos to the entire Demon Cave Mountain, and even the entire Heavenly Star Small World. It's just a tree demon. What's so scary about it? Master Puxian of the Arhut Hall of the Demon-Suppressing Temple stepped forward and said proudly, I've killed 300 monsters. What kind of monsters haven't I seen? Let's see how we are going to convert this tree demon. Master Pugue of the Sutra Depository sneered and said, Kong Te Chu, you're the most powerful person on earth. I didn't expect you to be afraid of a tree demon. If you don't dare to compete, just admit defeat and convert to Buddhism. Then go to the demon-suppressing temple and reflect on your mistakes. Master Puguang of the Law Enforcement Hall snorted. If you can convert her, then convert her. If you can't, just kill her. The demon-suppressing temple is never afraid of these things. Chu Yunxiu also snorted disdainfully. Master Taichu Celestial, are you really afraid? Aren't you always confident and domineering? Jiang Tian was too lazy to pay attention to her. He looked at Pudu and said indifferently, Pudu, if you want to mess around, you don't have to ask us to save you. The terror of this thing is not something you can imagine. The whirling divine tree was originally a strange creature, and had the power of a nascent soul cultivator. It had also absorbed a lot of fiend qi and miasma, which made it even more ferocious. Even if Jiang Tian wanted to take it down, he would have to use many divine abilities and secret arts by force, let alone these monks of the devil-subduing temple, who were only at the false core foundation establishment realm. If they made a move, they had no chance of winning at all. It was simply sending their heads to their deaths. Fellow Taoist Grand Primordium, you're too ignorant. You don't know the methods of my devil-suppressing temple. I'm sure you've seen my devil-suppressing temple's supreme dharma, and you'll also have the resolve to convert. Pudu shouted as he slapped a demon-suppressing steel away. After that, the Arhats, eminent monks, and Dharma protectors all showed off their abilities. They either shattered the demon-subduing monument or overturned it. Rumble. The mountains shook. It was as if there were countless gigantic dragons that were hundreds of feet long moving about underground. The gigantic tree slowly rose up, and there was a gigantic black ball under its roots. The black ball kept bulging, as if it were a ball of thread that was entangled with countless black threads. Those python-like roots wriggled crazily. Countless white bones were entangled between the roots, and there were at least a few hundred of them. She's eaten so many people before? Zen Master Dishin looked at those white bones and couldn't help but feel terrified. Right then, he vaguely realized that this root demon might be even more powerful and terrifying than Li Longyuan, Monster King Bai Zhe, and the master of the Heavenly God sect, who had dominated this continent back then. So scary. Chu Yunxiu's face also changed color. She turned pale and cold sweat covered her back. My Buddha is merciful. The sea of bitterness is boundless. Repent and you'll be saved. Tree demon, put down your knife and you'll be able to become a Buddha immediately. Convert. Zen Master Pudu shouted with a kind face and an infinite light shining from his body. I'm free. I'm finally free. Countless shrill voices sounded in all directions. In the valley, around the lake and on the mountain, more roots surged out and waved. On top of each root, there was a naked seductive woman. Suddenly, the expressions of all the seductive women changed. They became extremely evil and sinister. Thousands of seductive women spoke together. Their complicated voices made one's scalp tingle. Monster Bai Zhe said I ate too many people and suppressed me here. Thank you bald insects for letting me go. I can finally eat people again. Chi. The beauties on the roots suddenly turned into sharp swords, spears, and skeletons that attacked the monks. 8 styles of demon suppression. Golden bell shield of Buddha light. Thunder divine fist. The eminent monks shouted in unison, and executed their dharma and divine arts. Rumble. Some monks formed huge golden bells that shone with golden light to cover their bodies. Some punched at the roots, and lightning condensed into a huge fist. Some opened ancient Buddhist scriptures. Large golden characters flowed out and formed a barrier. But everything was useless in front of the sharp roots. Puff, puff, puff. Blood splattered. The shrill screams made one's hair stand on end. In the blink of an eye, several monks of the demon suppression temple were pierced by the roots of the tree demon. Suddenly, the whole place was filled with shrill screams. Chi. The golden bell shield of Samantabhadra was easily pierced by the roots as if it was made of wax. Blood gushed out like a tide as the root pierced through his chest and lifted him up high. At the same time, countless arm-like tentacles stretched out from the roots and grabbed him tightly. Let go of me. Although Samantabhadra practiced Buddhist telekinesis, his cultivation was comparable to the late stage of foundation establishment. He didn't die immediately. Blood spurted out of his mouth like arrows, but he still punched at the roots. Why should I let you go? The roots that pierced through his chest transformed into a beautiful woman. She stuck out her scarlet tongue and licked his smooth scalp while giggling. You saved me. I haven't repaid you yet. Stay and become one with me. Then she opened her mouth to the extreme. Her ears were torn. At the same time, her head expanded rapidly and turned into a devil head that was as dense as black glue. She swallowed Samantabhadra. Soon, Samantabhadra's face appeared on another root that was growing and expanding rapidly. He still looked like the original, but his voice had changed. He laughed wildly and said, "Senior brother, come on. Become one with me. It feels so powerful." Haha. It sounded so evil that it made one's scalp tingle. This scene scared many monks out of their wits. Their legs turned to jelly. Die, evildoer. Master Poo Poo soared into the sky. He waved the crescent moon shovel and cut off the head of the beauty who ate Samantabhadra. The beauty's head fell to the ground and immediately rotted into a piece of rotten wood. The woman on the tree grew a new head. My crescent moon shovel has been strengthened by Grandmaster's Buddhist doctrine. It can even kill a demon beast in the false elixir realm. What? Master Poo Poo was shocked. He soared into the sky again, trying to cut off the root. Suddenly, a branch as thick as an arm snaked over like a poisonous snake. It was faster than lightning and pierced through his internal organs. Ah, it hurts. Samantabhadra shouted. He used his Buddhist magic and condensed countless light swords, trying to cut off the branches. However, the 10 or so branches and vines exerted their strength together and pulled in all directions as if they were being torn apart by 5 horses. Bang! Bang! Master Poo Poo exploded into pieces and turned into a rain of sparkling flesh that fell to the ground. Senior brothers and junior brothers, let's go first. Anyway, this demon is in the Demon Cave Mountain. Even if she kills people indiscriminately, she will only kill the bandits of the Demon Cave Mountain. We can be considered to have gotten rid of the evil for the people. Master Pu Guang's heart almost exploded when he saw his senior brothers and junior brothers dying one by one. Cold sweat covered his back and he could no longer be proud. He soared into the sky on a lotus seat made of Buddhist light. His speed was so fast that he could cover hundreds of meters with a single step. Between the messy roots, branches and leaves, he dashed left and right, flying higher and higher. In the blink of an eye, he had covered a distance of 1 mile. Run, run. This demon tree is too scary. The other monks were also scared out of their wits. They cried for their parents and used their movement techniques to escape in all directions while riding on rays of light. But suddenly, with a rumbling sound, the rubble on the ground below flew into the air. Black tentacles full of bumps stretched out from the rocks like the hands of demons and entangled Master Pu Guang and the monks who wanted to escape. Let me go. Ha! Master Pu Guang was shocked. He used the Buddha's Vajra hand and slapped at the tentacles. At the same time, the prayer beads, wooden fish, small drum, and alms bowl on his body emitted Buddhist light and exploded. But it was useless. The Buddhist light was absorbed by the demon tree. His flesh and blood disappeared in the blink of an eye and he became a shriveled skin bag. How can this be? How can it be so powerful? Seeing his senior brothers and junior brothers being swallowed by the demon tree one by one, Master Pudu was dumbfounded. He could not believe it. Then he opened his eyes wide and roared like a thunderclap. Tree demon, you better submit to me. Otherwise, this poor monk will slay the demon. Haha, bald donkey, do you have that ability? The demon tree laughed strangely. Thousands of women spoke at the same time. waving their tentacle-like branches and roots. "Thousand-armed Buddha!" Master Pudu shouted. The halo of Buddhist light behind his head shone brightly. His psyche power, chi and Buddhist light gushed out and turned into a figure of 1,000 hands that was 100 meters tall and had 1,000 arms behind him. "Kill!" Master Pudu shouted and attacked together with the 1,000-armed Buddha behind him. Violent waves of chi surged out, blowing up smoke and dust. Rocks flew everywhere, and the 10-meter-long stone tablet was blown away like a withered leaf. Boom! The 1,000-armed Buddha stepped forward like an ancient deity and came to the demon tree. The thousands of Dharma artifacts and weapons in its hands smashed at the demon tree. "Haha, Master Pudu. Even your grandmaster was no match for me back then. You're underestimating me by using the 1,000-armed Buddha against me," the thousands of women of the demon tree said contemptuously. Suddenly, countless roots surged and entangled, forming a giant ball of thread with a radius of 10 meters in the blink of an eye. It vaguely took the shape of a fist. The fist made of roots covered the sky. It was enormous and surging with fiend chi. It fell from the sky and smashed at the head of the 1,000-armed Buddha. Chapter 940. Clang. The 1,000-armed Buddha was smashed into the ground. The golden Buddha's aura dimmed and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Rumble. The explosion was earth-shattering. Billowing waves of air blasted out, creating a huge crater with a radius of dozens of meters. Puff. Master Pudu suffered the backlash of his dharmic powers. He spat out a mouthful of blood and staggered back. 3 of his ribs were broken. Delicious, delicious. What a fragrant monk. The tree demon did not stay idle when it repelled Master Pudu. Its countless roots continued to attack the other eminent monks. In the blink of an eye, dozens of eminent monks died. Their corpses were devoured and absorbed. They could not escape even if they wanted to. Tree demon, shut up. Master Pudu threw out a 1,000-layer pagoda, golden alms bowl, prayer beads, and many other Dharma treasures to suppress it. The pagoda was filled with Buddha's aura. Scriptures floated in the prayer beads, emitting 100 feet of light. But it was useless. In the blink of an eye, the tree demon tainted the Dharma treasures with demonic chi and dispersed their dharmic powers. What? It destroyed more than a dozen of my Dharma treasures in the blink of an eye. Run. Run. Seeing this, Master Pudu's heart sank into the abyss with a thud. He hurriedly shouted, "Master, we can't run." Zen Master Deshin used his dharmic powers to resist, but he wanted to cry but had no tears. The tree demon's range was too wide. It covered the entire valley. Every time they rushed to the edge of the valley, countless roots would sweep them back and force them back. "Master, what should we do? Abbot, help." Countless monks were shouting and screaming. Their voices were extremely shrill. This was a scene dyed in blood, tragic to the extreme. Blood dyed the sky. The eminent monks' dharmic powers were broken by the branches, and their bodies were pierced. The tree demon's branches were like the tentacles of a giant octopus. They danced in the air, entangling the arhats and strangling them to death. Demonic chi surged into the sky like a tide. The Vajra's chi and blood were absorbed in the blink of an eye. They were reduced to dry corpses. Some had even turned into white bones. How could this be? How could this be? Is the demon-subduing temple going to end here today? At this moment, Master Pudu was at his wit's end. The bald donkey was at his wit's end. His heart was filled with despair and regret. He finally realized in despair how wrong he was. He had eyes but failed to see. Jiang Tian's reminder was on point and pertinent. At this moment, he was filled with regret. If he had listened to Jiang Tian, how could he have suffered such a great loss? In today's battle, the demon-subduing temple had suffered heavy losses. They had tried to steal a chicken only to end up losing the rice used to lure it. This could be said to be their greatest loss in several hundred years. Suddenly, Master Pudu wondered if Kong Techu had perished in the battle since the tree demon was so ferocious. He glanced around from the corner of his eyes, and saw that Jiang Tian and the others had already retreated to the entrance of the valley. Jiang Tian's body emitted a dazzling golden light, forming a protective shield that firmly protected his companions. Those roots were like bloodthirsty vipers, constantly drilling into the golden barrier. However, they were bounced off by the light shield time and time again, and even exploded in the air. Jiang Tian and the others were not hurt at all. Fellow Taoist Jiang, help us. Master Pudu suddenly realized that Jiang Tian had the ability to restrain these roots. He shouted with tears in his eyes. Master Pudu, I owe you. Why should I save you? Besides, it's not like I didn't warn you. You're the ones who are confident. Jiang Tian did not bother to pay attention to him. He flung his sleeves and snorted coldly. This. Master Pudu was speechless. Jiang Tian was right. Today they came to threaten Jiang Tian. They even wanted to kill Jiang Tian. If Jiang Tian did not surrender, they would kill him. Now they were begging Jiang Tian for help. This was a bit too much. Taichu Immortal Master, we were wrong. Please suppress them. Zen Master Dixin flew to Jiang Tian and knelt down to beg. Yes, Brother Jiang, please save them. Besides, if this root demon rushes out, the Demon Cave Mountain will also suffer. Now the Demon Cave Mountain is your territory, right? Xiao Yingluo also tried to persuade him. All right then, I'll do it. Dixin, remember that you owe me a favor. Jiang Tian pondered for a while and finally shook his head with a bitter smile. Originally, he wanted to refine and absorb this whirling divine tree. The reason why he did not do it was because he was thinking about the most effective secret technique just now. Now that he was 100% sure, it was not bad to do Dixin a favor. Dixin kowtowed again and again, full of gratitude. Meanwhile, the big demon Baizhe and Chu Yunxiu looked smug as if their evil plan had succeeded. After Baizhe was subdued by Jiang Tian with the feather robe, star crown and cloud-slashing boots, he had been thinking hard about how to break it. He had tried many times but failed. He knew that if Jiang Tian was still alive and kept strengthening these demon suppression talismans, he would never have the chance to break it. But if Jiang Tian was dead, it would be a different story. With his powerful divine sense, he would definitely be able to erase the demon suppression talisman's magic power in 10 years. At that time, he would regain his freedom. Therefore, he thought of a way, and that was to use the root demon to kill Jiang Tian. Moreover, he did not expect that Jiang Tian would take the initiative to ask for wood attribute cultivation resources. It was exactly what he wanted. However, he did not expect that the demon suppression temple's darn baldies would suddenly attack and insist on uprooting the demon suppression steels to convert the tree demon. They were the first to bear the brunt, which made Jiang Tian realize how powerful and terrifying these tree demons were. Baizhe immediately lost all hope. How could Kong Taichu dare to fight the tree demons to the death? He did not expect that Jiang Tian would be so foolish and bold as to fight the tree demons to save these baldies. At this time, Baizhe was overjoyed. He was so happy that he wanted to jump up. Kong Taichu, oh Kong Taichu, hurry up and go to your death. Even I can't beat this thing, haha. He was so happy that he accidentally said baldies. He hurriedly covered his mouth, his eyes full of shock. Haha, I heard it. Jiang Tian turned to look at him and sneered. Do you think that I can't kill this tree demon? Baizhe's eyes darted around, his mind whirling. Suddenly, he made up his mind and decided to goad him. He snorted arrogantly. You can't kill him. If you can kill him, I'll kneel down and lick your toes, and be your underling. The sincere kind. Humph, I also think that you can't kill him. Chu Yunxiu also decided to add fuel to the fire. She said disdainfully, I think you're just scared. If I kill him, you'll lick him too? Jiang Tian said sarcastically. Chu Yunxiu gnashed her teeth in hatred, wishing that she could swallow Jiang Tian alive. She snorted. Fine, I'll lick him. Anyway, you'll die if you go out. I'll let you show off. Good. Jiang Tian snorted and walked toward the tree demon casually. Master, be careful. Yi Tianren warned. He was very worried for Jiang Tian. After all, this tree demon was too scary. However, he was immediately shocked. What a solid true essence. You don't come from this world. When Jiang Tian approached, the thousands of women on the tree demons all revealed expressions of fear and dread. Whoosh. It was like a cat whose hair was standing on end. Countless tentacle-like roots, branches, and leaves threw many monks aside. They wriggled like giant pythons and turned into all kinds of weapons. They even took the forms of all kinds of strange demon beasts and attacked Jiang Tian together. Good. This kid actually made a move. Master Pudu was very pleased. There was a strange light in his eyes, and there was even a hint of gloating. It's best if both sides are injured, then I'll kill them both. I want everyone in the world to become my believers and worship me. Moreover, at that time, I can say that it was Kong Teichu who pulled out the demon-suppressing monument and colluded with the tree demon. The monks of the demon-suppressing temple were all killed by Kong Teichu. I won't be responsible. After all, it was his idea to pull out the demon-suppressing monument, reveal the endless Buddhist power, and convert Jiang Tian. However, he made a big mistake and caused the death of the monks of the demon-suppressing temple. He had become a sinner of the demon-suppressing temple. Moreover, if the tree demon rushed out, it would bring disaster to Demon Cave Mountain, and even the entire Heavenly Star small world. He would become the target of public criticism, the laughingstock of the world, the evil of the world. Go to hell. Jiang Tian walked toward the tree demon step by step. He shouted and patted the sky-devouring demon gourd at his waist. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. What? He can cut off the tree demon's branches? Chu Yunxiu's face was pale with fright. She never thought that Jiang Tian would be so powerful. This kid's flying sword is so sharp. Bai Zai's face was filled with disbelief. The tree demon had been around for too long. Even the master of the heavenly god couldn't kill it. He could only use the demon-suppressing monument to suppress it. Moreover, it was suppressed by the master of the heavenly god and hundreds of nascent soul realm ancestors. Thousands of years ago, when the foreign experts invaded, the tree demon was infected with demonic qi and became even stronger. Then the master of the heavenly god split open the galaxy teleportation formation and formed the solitary sword valley. He unintentionally split open the demon-suppressing monument. At that time, only one of the tree demon's roots was freed. However, it became even stronger. It killed thousands of immortals, demonic beasts and human cultivators. Thousands of years ago, Bai Zai, who had reached the nascent soul realm, joined forces with many ancestors to suppress the tree demon. In that battle, dozens of nascent soul realm and false core realm experts were killed. The heavenly star small world suffered a great loss. It fell from a third-grade cultivation world to a fourth-grade cultivation world. That battle had only been able to suppress a single tendril within Solitary Sword Valley. It could be said that even Li Longyuan, Bai Zai, and the master of the heavenly god didn't dare to attack the tree demon. The few times they attacked, they had joined forces with many experts. If it was a one-on-one battle, none of the experts in the stellar sky domain had the ability to fight. But now, Jiang Tian didn't seem to be at a disadvantage. How could he not be shocked? Chapter 941. Roar, roar, roar. Countless branches were cut off. The tree demon howled miserably like thousands of ghosts, making people's scalp numb. Boom. Thousands of branches and roots wriggled quickly and condensed into a ball, forming a huge ball of thread with a radius of more than 10 meters. It crazily smashed towards Jiang Tian. Seal. Jiang Tian used a seal technique. Boom. Surging restriction power spread out in all directions and surged towards the tree demon like a tide. Boundless restrictive power flickered with golden light. Boundless runes floated up and down, like the flickering of stars. In the blink of an eye, the seal enveloped the tree demon and formed a huge seal ball with a radius of 1 kilometer with it as the center. The tree demon was immediately fixed in place. Its branches and roots were frozen in the air like dead snakes. Countless beautiful women on the tree were full of resentment. They crazily twisted their bodies and hissed, "Let me go! You little thief! Let me go and I'll spare you this time. Otherwise, I'll cut you into pieces." Cut. Thousands of flying swords didn't stop. They shuttled back and forth in the air like fish, cutting off branches one by one. His restrictive power is actually so profound and vast. Monster King Bai Zai was deeply shocked again. Chu Yunxiu was also stunned. She looked at Jiang Tian as if she had seen a ghost. Her face was full of disbelief. This was the tree demon that even the master of the heavenly god sect and Monster King Bai Zai were wary of. However, it was restrained by Jiang Tian. But the more shocking thing was yet to come. Whether it was the flying swords or the seal technique, they were just means that Jiang Tian controlled. The real killing move hadn't been used yet. Swish. This tree demon was very powerful. Several python-like roots actually broke free from the restraints of the restriction after twisting crazily. The root heads turned into spears and sharp swords, streaking across the sky and piercing towards Jiang Tiandong. Heaven-swallowing demonic art, sun furnace. Jiang Tian's expression turned serious. He let out a low shout and finally used his strongest move. Buzz. A voice like a great bell shook the void. In front of Jiang Tian's chest, a huge true essence furnace gradually emerged. At first, the furnace was very small, only a few meters in radius. However, it quickly expanded and became larger and larger. In the blink of an eye, it had reached a radius of several hundred meters, completely enveloping the entire tree demon, including its roots and branches. What is this? Let me out. Sir, this concubine is convinced. Let this concubine go. This concubine is willing to make your bed and fold your quilt for you. I'll be your maid and make you happy. Little thief, let me out. Otherwise, I'll tear you into 1,000 pieces and burn your bones to ashes. On top of the tree demons, countless women had different expressions and tones. Some had tears in their beautiful eyes, and they were pleading pitifully. Some had terrified faces, and they were screaming miserably. Some were baring their teeth, and they were shouting angrily. But no matter what, they were unable to break free from the control of the secret technique of the Great Sun Furnace. Even the branches that had risen up to attack had fallen to the ground like dead snakes. This furnace is so scary. Bai Zhe knew what was good and looked at the Great Sun Furnace in shock. The furnace was simple and natural in shape. Countless Tao patterns and runes were carved on it. Each line was profound and cryptic, carrying with it the aura of time. It seemed to have come from the primordial chaos of the beginning of the universe, crossing tens of thousands of years. It did not belong to this world at all. In the blink of an eye, huge blazing dragons formed in the depths of the furnace. They stretched and surged, baring their fangs and brandishing their claws as they lunged at the tree demon. There were also huge blazing suns floating in the air. They were like halos of the sun, emitting endless blazing light. Jiang Tian had once used the Great Sun Furnace of the heaven-devouring demonic technique against the leader of the Great Circle, Lin Zhenyu. But at that time, Jiang Tian was only at the middle stage of qi refinement, and could only imitate some of its charm. But now that Jiang Tian had reached foundation establishment, its power had increased tenfold, 100-fold. Ah, what is this? Let me out. It hurts. The tree demon howled miserably. The roots and vines waved crazily and emitted billowing black fiend qi, trying to resist. But the flames in the Great Sun Furnace were red like boiling magma. Many blazing suns shone in the sky, almost like the essence of the sun. Its temperature and dharma power far exceeded the flames of the samadhi true fire, and Li fire essence. The vines and roots could not rush out at all. The billowing fiend qi was also quickly burned away. The roots were ignited and the woman inside was turned into charcoal, being refined bit by bit. But the heaven-devouring demonic technique was too powerful. It was an immortal emperor-level technique. The Great Sun Furnace was one of the most powerful techniques, comparable to a supreme divine artifact. It could refine all fiend qi, miasma, poison, and true essence. If Jiang Tian used it after reaching the true god level, he could even swallow a star and refine a part of the universe. But now, Jiang Tian had the power of a fourth-level foundation establishment. Although he could only imitate a few hundred square meters, it was extremely easy for him to subdue a tree demon that had just reached nascent soul level. Moreover, this tree demon had been suppressed for 1,000 years, and had not eaten for a long time. It was already in its weakest state. Jiang Tian had the power to crush it. How is this possible? I'm a 10,000-year-old tree demon. I'm nourished by fiend qi and have absorbed endless poison. Even the master of the heavenly god sect is no match for me. How can you suppress me? The tree demon roared angrily like a fiend god that had walked out of hell, with endless killing intent and resentment. He used all kinds of methods in a frenzy. Countless branches and roots turned into swords, spears, swords, and halberds. They turned into demon beasts and ferocious birds and charged, wanting to tear the great sun furnace apart. Kong Taechu is going to win. I can't wait any longer. This is the time. Master Pudu's eyes hardened. He released a Buddha plaque at the back of Jiang Tian's head, wanting to take the opportunity to kill Jiang Tian. Master, you. The Xian noticed this and couldn't help but cry out in alarm. It's useless. The more you use it, the more your Fiend Qi and Fiend Qi will be nourished by my great sun furnace. The power of the great sun furnace will also become stronger. Jiang Tian didn't seem to notice Pudu's sneak attack. His face was calm as he firmly controlled the great sun furnace and refined it unhurriedly. His clothes fluttered, his face was as calm as still water, and his temperament was otherworldly. He didn't look like the senior monks of the demon-subduing temple who were anxious and angry when fighting. He was like a supreme god that had descended. Refining a big demon was like cooking a small fish. He looked relaxed and casual. Yes. No. I'm not confident. Seeing that Jiang Tian was completely crushing him, Pudu's heart trembled, but he still took back the Buddha plaque that had flown 100 meters away. Because Jiang Tian's strength was too terrifying, he felt that his sneak attack this time might not succeed. You demon. What kind of demonic magic are you using? It's so terrifying. Sure enough, the tree demon found that the endless Fiend Qi, and vitality were all being absorbed by the great sun furnace, causing the vital essence in the shape of a giant dragon to boil even more. Beside him, Xiaoying Luo wanted to laugh. Brother Jiang was really too powerful and too fierce. He was actually called a demon by a big demon. He was really a demon among demons. At this time, the tree demon's branches and roots turned to ashes. Countless leaves and branches rustled and fell. The women on the branches and roots all withered and withered. Even half of the thick tree trunk was burned. It was about to die. Kill, kill, kill. I can't die, I won't die. Suddenly, the tree demon roared. Waves of black Fiend Qi floated out of the trunk and gathered into a huge skeleton demon. It opened its mouth and rushed toward Jiang Tian. At this time, he had already realized that his body was about to die, so he used the black Fiend Qi and Fiend Qi to attack. Soul-devouring divine sense, eat it for me. Jiang Tian snorted. The small golden lake in his forehead swayed, and a black soul-devouring divine sense probed out like sticky black glue. The soul-devouring divine sense was as thick as a bucket. It divided into 2 in the air, 2 into 3, 3 into 4, as if 3 gave birth to all things. In an instant, it divided into tens of thousands of divine senses. The tens of thousands of divine senses stretched out like black glue. They were dense and intertwined like countless tentacles. They drilled into the Fiend Qi and Fiend Qi of the Fiend Qi, and Fiend Qi of the Fiend Qi. Bang! With a sound, the Fiend Qi was swallowed up by the soul-devouring divine sense. The soul-devouring divine sense shrank back into Jiang Tian's mind. At the same time, the tree demon's huge trunk shook and cracked. Countless fragments fell from the sky like a heavy downpour. Immediately after, the entire ground of the valley seemed to have been flipped over. Countless roots jumped out of the ground like huge snakes, turning into pieces of black charcoal amidst the tumbling of the ground. Some roots didn't have time to jump out of the ground and completely collapsed. The ground directly collapsed into deep pits, the deepest of which was more than 10 meters deep. It was a shocking sight. Rumble. Finally, the tree demon's huge trunk fell to the ground powerlessly. The black charcoal pieces piled up into a small hill. At this moment, the whole place fell into a dead silence. This tree demon that had once wreaked havoc in the small world of stars for thousands of years, suppressed the sect leaders and killed dozens of eminent monks in the blink of an eye, was completely refined by Jiang Tian in a few seconds. His true essence became a furnace, the sun rose in the sky, and the fire dragons swallowed and spat. He refined the 1,000-year-old demon, as if he were cooking a small fish. He did it. Is he still a human? Chu Yinxiu seemed to have been drained of all her energy. She became a clay statue and was stiff on the spot, motionless. This Kong Taechu is obviously from Earth. How can he be so powerful? The dozens of eminent monks of the demon-subduing temple were deeply shocked and full of disbelief. He's too powerful. Everyone looked at Jiang Tian, who was standing in the air and controlling the Grand Sun Furnace, as if they were looking at a god. How is this possible? Even Master Pudu was dumbfounded. He felt like he was in a dream. Chapter 942. When Pudu saw that Jiang Tian didn't dare to fight with Desolator, he thought that Jiang Tian was only at the second level of foundation establishment. But when he saw that Jiang Tian could condense a shield to defend against the tree demon's attack, he realized that Jiang Tian's cultivation was most likely at the level of fake core. Thus, he thought that Jiang Tian was on par with the tree demon, or even slightly inferior. Therefore, he thought that he could sneak attack Jiang Tian while the two of them were fighting each other with injuries. But he didn't expect that Jiang Tian's strength was even more terrifying than he thought. At this time, he could no longer guess Jiang Tian's strength. It was as if he couldn't guess how vast the universe was. Brother Jiang is too powerful. Xiaoying Lua was so excited that her face turned red. She raised her arms and shouted. Yi Tianren and the old dragon's worship surged in their hearts, and they couldn't help but kowtow as if they were seeing a god. Big Demon Baizhe also widened his eyes. This kid was even more powerful than the Holy Heaven Sect master. From the looks of it, it seems that he is qualified enough to be my master. Under everyone's shocked gazes, Jiang Tian waved his hand and took a green object from the pile of charcoal. He sacrificed it into the sky-devouring demon gourd, then walked over step by step and landed on the ground. After all, he hadn't turned into a fire attribute physique, so he couldn't use the Great Sun Furnace smoothly. Otherwise, if he turned into a fire attribute divine physique, the Great Sun Furnace would be at his fingertips. Why would he need a breath to kill the tree demon? Jiang Tian thought of his peak state in his previous life and sighed in his heart. Seeing Jiang Tian land on the ground, everyone finally reacted. Zen Master De Xian stepped forward and kowtowed deeply. Thank you, Immortal Master Jiang, for your help. De Xian will definitely repay your kindness. The other monks also bowed to Jiang Tian. Such a person was too terrifying. He might have the strength to fight Li Longyuan head-on. They couldn't defend him. But at this time, Jiang Tian's body shook, and blood seeped out of the corner of his mouth. Seeing this, Pudu was surprised. His divine sense swept towards Jiang Tian's dantian, and could not help but reveal a gloating smile. Then he stopped smiling and put his palms together. Master Kong, your soul is occupied by devil chi and devil consciousness. Are you injured? At this moment, he had already discovered that there was a large amount of black devil chi entrenched in Jiang Tian's mind. It hadn't been completely refined, and was clashing with the soul devourer, causing Jiang Tian to vomit blood. This was because the soul devourer was originally plundered by Jiang Tian from Yeming Yuan's body. It wasn't easy to use it. Refining devil chi wasn't something that could be done overnight. Moreover, Jiang Tian's dantian was also lifeless. It was shrouded by thick black demonic chi, and had no signs of life at all. Under such circumstances, he was already being polite by saying that Jiang Tian was injured. He should have said that Jiang Tian's cultivation had dissipated, and he had become a cripple. Just refine this demonic chi. Why do you have to devour it? This is bad. His mind might be in a mess and he might go mad. At this moment, Great Demon Baizhe also noticed the changes in Jiang Tian, and was shocked. Jiang Tian did look a little demonic at this moment. The white in his eyes had decreased, and his black pupils had expanded. The devil chi was torrential, exuding a cruel and bloodthirsty aura. This devil chi had already begun to spread to Jiang Tian's dantian, causing it to turn pitch black. Jiang Tian glanced at Pudu coldly and said, "What does it have to do with you whether I'm injured or not?" Pudu's face stiffened, then he smiled and said, "Immortal Master Jiang, the demon-subduing temple has 3 scrolls of the Great Freedom Demon-subduing mantra. If you convert to the demon-subduing temple, and become my disciple, I will teach you this supreme skill. Get lost." Jiang Tian's eyes flickered with murderous intent as he said coldly, "I'm already being merciful by not killing you. If you dare to make trouble again, I won't be polite to you. Immortal Master Jiang, I'm giving you face and giving you this opportunity, because I want to repay your kindness." Pudu was furious and said, Do you know that you have the devil chi? Do you know that you won't be able to refine the devil chi that has invaded your body? If this continues, you will lose all of your cultivation base and become a cripple. Or your behavior will become erratic, like a mad demon or a wild dog. You will become a beast. Now you have offended the Starry Palace and the other major forces. You are the target of public criticism. Li Longyuan wants to kill you, and the major cities and sects regard you as a mortal enemy. Don't you know that? You are absolutely helpless against this devil chi, but in my opinion, it is extremely simple. You only need to recite the Great Freedom Demon Subduing Mantra for a year to refine the endless devil chi. Originally, if you had asked me nicely, I would have helped you, but you actually treated me like this. Well, I can't be bothered with you. The other eminent monks were also angry and criticized Jiang Tian, as if Jiang Tian didn't know what was good for him. Immortal Master Jiang, our demon-subduing temple kindly came to guide you to convert, lest you be killed by Li Longyuan. How can you have such an attitude? Now that the devil chi has entered your body, your divine sense is chaotic, and your cultivation has dropped greatly. If you don't know how to appreciate kindness, then wait to be killed. Uncle Masters, don't be disrespectful to Immortal Master Jiang. After all, he just saved everyone. Only Zen Master De Xian bowed and apologized to Jiang Tian, earnestly persuading everyone. What kind of eminent monks are you? How can you be so shameless? Big Brother Jiang has already saved you, but you are still threatening him. You can just lend the scriptures to Big Brother Jiang. Why must you convert him to your demon-subduing temple? Xiaoying Lua was so angry that her face turned pale. She couldn't believe it. It was as if a group of people had fallen into the water and someone had saved them, but they wanted to extort the rescuer. What about converting Jiang Tian, and converting Jiang Tian? It sounded nice, but wasn't it just making Jiang Tian a slave and servant for them to use? I said that on this mainland, only our demon-subduing temple has the ability to refine the devil chi. Pudu remained unmoved. He glanced at Jiang Tian with a slight sneer as if Jiang Tian was already a dead man. Then he lifted his foot and left. He was sure that Jiang Tian was in a very bad situation now. He was only at the second level of foundation establishment, and previously he had used the energy explosion pill and other elixirs to forcibly increase his cultivation. He was already on the verge of death. Now that the devil chi had entered his body, his combat power would drop a lot, and he would be vulnerable. It could be said that even if the Feather Guard attacked, Jiang Tian might not be able to withstand it, let alone Li Longyuan. He would be killed in minutes. Therefore, he was sure that Jiang Tian would admit defeat, and bow his head to the demon-subduing temple to admit his mistake. Master Pudu walked calmly to the mouth of the valley, but he was counting down in his heart. 3, 2, 1. Stop. Behind Master Pudu, Jiang Tian's voice suddenly sounded. A sneer appeared at the corner of Master Pudu's mouth, and he snorted proudly in his heart. Humph, he still took the bait. This was all part of their plan. From the moment he invited Jiang Tian to convert to the demon-subduing temple, it was a show, a big show against Jiang Tian. As long as Jiang Tian converted to the demon-subduing temple, Master Pudu would immediately place Jiang Tian in the 1000 Buddha Pagoda and use Buddha's teachings to convert him. There were 1,000 golden arhats in the pagoda, as well as a huge amount of telekinesis. He said that he would convert the demonic thoughts in Jiang Tian's mind, but in fact he would slowly grind Jiang Tian's divine sense into pieces. These 1,000 arhats had a great background. They were the abbot of the demon-subduing temple, Arhatvajra. Not to mention that Jiang Tian's cultivation had dropped greatly and his dantian was damaged. Even if he was at his peak state, he would not be able to resist. Once his divine sense was destroyed, his supernatural powers would be destroyed, and his physical body would be reduced to that of an ordinary person. At that time, Jiang Tian would be at the mercy of anyone who could stab him to death with a finger. It could be said that Monster King Baizhe had underestimated their scheming and thought that they were too kind. He thought that they were guiding Jiang Tian to convert to strengthen the demon-subduing temple. But in fact, Master Pudu and the higher-ups of the demon-subduing temple had never intended to let Jiang Tian live. Hearing Jiang Tian's words, Master Pudu slowly turned around, flicked his sleeves and said proudly, "What? Immortal Master Jiang, are you regretting it? If you had been polite to me earlier, you wouldn't have humiliated yourself." Many eminent monks were also sneering. What number one person on earth? What demon cave mountain master? No matter how glorious and powerful you are still a coward who is afraid of death. You still have to bow your head to the demon-subduing temple. But as soon as Master Pudu finished speaking, Jiang Tian's face was full of mockery. He said coldly, "Regret? Being polite to you? You think too highly of yourself. You secretly plotted against me with the Buddha amulet. Did you think that I, Kong Teichu, am easy to bully? Today, I will kill you." As soon as these words were spoken, everyone's expression changed drastically. Xiao Yingluo's face was even paler. She knew that Jiang Tian was not going to bow his head and admit defeat, but was going to fight them to the death. Master Pudu was slightly taken aback, then he looked up to the sky and laughed. "Haha, Kong Teichu, that's right, I wanted to kill you just now. Don't tell me you still want to settle accounts with me?" He was unscrupulous and arrogant. He did not look like an eminent monk at all. "Isn't it up to me to decide whether I want to convert you or kill a demon like you to guard the vicissitudes of righteousness? Your life and death are completely in my hands. And have you forgotten that the demonic aura has entered your body and you've lost all your cultivation? How dare you question me now?" Jiang Tian said lightly, "I haven't forgotten my demonic aura. But even if I lose all my cultivation, I'm still not someone you can provoke." "Little White!" Jiang Tian shouted. "You called me? Why are you calling me?" Bai Zhe walked out lazily, looking as if he wouldn't do anything even if he was beaten to death. He was a little depressed. "I'm a demon king with a lifespan of thousands of years. You call me Little White? Why does it sound like a dog's name?" Jiang Tian looked at his dead face and felt angry. He shouted, "That's enough. Do you still want to kneel down and lick my toes? If you don't, kill him for me. Do you think I'm afraid of you? Do you think I'll kill you just because you want me to?" Bai Zhe sneered, but he was already approaching Master Pudu, muttering shyly, "I'm the ruler of this world. I'm going to conquer the Sea of Stars in the future. You're just a little foundation establishment cultivator. If you want me to help you, you'd better say please." Then he raised his hand and pointed at Master Pudu, shouting like an old man, "Little bald donkey, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and kneel down and lick my toes." Chapter 943. You want him to kill me? He's not even a teenager. He's like an ant. Do you think he's a match for me? Master Pudu couldn't believe it. He sneered. Bai Zhe's original body had been damaged by Li Longyuan. It was in between a human form and a demon form. He had reformed this human form. Judging from his chi, blood, and age, he was indeed a teenager. Bai Zhe was a demon with a lifespan of more than 1,000 years. He was older than Yuan Tiangang and the great grandmaster of the demon-subduing temple. Master Pudu and he were not from the same era. Master Pudu had never seen him, so he naturally didn't know him. "No. I have to run. Otherwise he'll kill me later." Seeing that everyone was paying attention to Jiang Tian and Bai Zhe, and no one was paying attention to her, Chu Yunxiu retreated step by step. After taking dozens of steps back quietly, she stepped on the flying sword and flew away without looking back. In the blink of an eye, she disappeared into the night. "Ant!" Bai Zhe was furious. Demon chi soared around him. He turned around and slapped at Master Pudu. Boom! Crack! Bai Zhe's palm grew hair as it slapped down. The sharp bone hook grew rapidly. When it hit Master Pudu, it was already a demon claw the size of a millstone. Boom! There was a loud noise. Master Pudu was slapped into the ground. He spat out blood. His bones and tendons were broken, and his monk robe was tattered. "Little bald donkey, how dare you call me an ant? Kneel down to immortal Master Jiang. Lick our toes." Bai Zhe smiled darkly and waved his hand. Several gusts of demon wind controlled Master Pudu to crawl toward Jiang Tian. He knelt on the ground and kept kowtowing. He even opened his mouth and licked Jiang Tian's shoes. Bai Zhe was too strong. Even Li Longyuan and Li Longyuan's ancestors were no match for him, let alone Master Pudu. Kong Teichu, he's a demon. He's a great demon. Master Pudu was shocked and angry. He shouted loudly, "How dare you raise demons? You're with demons. You are truly a devil, and your crimes are unforgivable." He was the abbot of the Demon Suppression Temple, an esteemed monk of his generation. Yet, he was being forced to kneel before Jiang Tian by a demon. He even wanted to lick Jiang Tian's toes. This was a great humiliation. Hee, didn't you want to convert me? Jiang Tian stepped on Master Pudu's face. Come, continue to convert me. What kind of bullshit incantation is that? Recite it to me. Kong Teichu, this poor monk came here today to establish good karma. How dare you humiliate me like this, do you know? Master Pudu was about to threaten them. Bang! Jiang Tian stepped on Master Pudu's face again. Jiang. Chu. Master Pudu roared angrily, his eyes almost popping out of their sockets. You've gone too far. I'm abbot of demon subduing temple? I know about him, but he's nothing. Jiang Tian stepped on him again and snorted. I'm bullying you, I'm humiliating you, and I'm stepping on you. What can you do about it? Jiang Tian stepped on him until his yellow teeth fell out, his nose was bleeding, and his face was deformed. I don't need to be at the peak of my cultivation to step on you. My devil chi has entered my body, and I've lost all my cultivation, but I'm still stepping on you. What can you do about it? Get up and bite me. Cough. Master Pudu's mouth was bleeding, and he coughed violently. He was so miserable that he could not say a word. Humph. Convert me? Convert to your demon suppression temple and become your disciple? Who gave you the courage to do that? Bang. Jiang Tianfei raised his leg and kicked his nose, causing blood to gush out from his nose. Jiang Tian snorted mockingly. I saved you, and you still want to plot against me? Jiang Tian stepped on him again and again. His feet fell like raindrops, as if he was doing a ghost dance. Master Pudu's face suddenly became bloody and twisted like a crumpled sanitary napkin. His monk robe was torn, and his face was covered with blood and mud. He was in a sorry state. In the end, Jiang Tian spat on his face and sneered. Shameless, heartless, and deceitful. How dare you call yourself an eminent monk? How nauseating. Bah. Cough, puff. At this time, Master Pudu was so miserable, and he was so humiliated by Jiang Tian that he spat out a mouthful of blood. He was the abbot of Demon Suppression Temple, one of the 3 major sects under the Tianqing Palace. He was profound in Buddhist doctrine and had countless believers, among which there was no lack of experts like aristocratic families and city lords. Even Li Longyuan had to treat him politely and rely on him. At this moment, he was beaten up so miserably by Jiang Tian. At this moment he hated Jiang Tian to the core. He gritted his teeth and said, Kong Teichu, you have made a terrible mistake. Do you understand? If I don't die tonight, I will settle this score with you. You won't have the chance because you are going to die soon. Jiang Tian said calmly. You want to kill me? Master Pudu was stunned. So what if I kill you? Jiang Tian smiled. Suddenly, Master Pudu lay on the ground and laughed madly. He said coldly, Kong Teichu, you are too naive. Do you know what the words devil-suppressing temple mean here? Do you know what kind of influence I, salvation, have? For thousands of years anyone, even if they have committed heinous crimes, can join my demon suppression temple and become a Buddha as long as they put down their weapons. Even Li Longyuan can't pursue this matter. For thousands of years, my demon suppression temple has guarded this continent and killed countless demons and devils. Countless monks in the temple have died and are respected by everyone. Therefore, my demon suppression temple has been a great benefactor to thousands of sects and is their shelter. Furthermore, before coming here, this humble monk has already announced to the world that I have come to convert you. I have come to treat your injuries. I have come to protect you. But you killed me. What kind of face did you have in the eyes of the world? Ha! He screamed like an evil spirit. You don't know what's good for you. You repay kindness with ingratitude. You are cruel and unscrupulous. You kill people and destroy sects easily. At that time, no one in the stellar sky domain will be loyal to you. You are deserted by your friends and family, and you are alone. At that time, the world will talk and the cultivator's spittle will drown you alive. At that time, many sects and huge cities in the world will regard you as their mortal enemy. At that time, they will even think that the human race on Earth is so despicable. Invading Earth and cleansing that dirty and despicable world will become the consensus of everyone in Star World. Kong Taechu, do you really think I am so stupid? I have made full preparations before I came. Master Pudu became more and more proud as he spoke. Finally, he laughed wildly. The righteousness of the common people and the moral high ground are all occupied by this old monk. I can heal you, convert you with Buddhist techniques, kill you directly, or ambush you. You can't do anything. Do it. Kong Taechu, come and kill this old monk. Let's see if you have the guts. Jiang Tian was silent. He looked at the sky and seemed to be thinking. What? Are you scared? Master Pudu laughed complacently like a mad devil and mocked. Don't worry. Aren't you called the most powerful person on Earth? Aren't you invincible? Even you are at your wits' end. Let me tell you, a brain is a good thing, but you don't have one. Looking at Master Pudu's ferocious and terrifying appearance, Zen Master Dashin felt a chill in his heart. He couldn't believe it. Could it be that this is my venerable and formidable master? Could this be the senior monk who had attained the Tao? Why does he look like a despicable and shameless villain? A devil with evil intentions and a lunatic. Do you think I don't dare to kill you? Jiang Tian lowered his eyes and smiled faintly. I'm just wondering whether you should be eaten by the big black dog, or by Little White. What? Do you really dare to kill me? Master Pudu's face was full of shock and fear. Immortal Master Jiang, please have mercy. All of a sudden, in the sky, numerous flying swords drew out streaks of white turbulence in the air, like streaks of rainbows, as they flew through the air. The leader was Jiang Haishan. Following closely behind was a tall and majestic general in a red robe wearing bright armor. Immortal Master Jiang, this is Shun Tej, the war god of the wilderness. He is here to deliver a letter of challenge. Jiang Haishan stepped forward quickly and said respectfully. Jiang Tian looked at Shun Tej, his eyes flickering. This person was at least 300 years old, but he still looked like he was 20 years old. However, he already had the strength of the peak stage of the false core stage, which was even stronger than Fang Jingqiang. Jiang Haishan hesitated for a while and whispered in his ear. Immortal Master Jiang, it has indeed spread outside. Many cultivators admire and praise Master Pudu's righteous act. Please don't kill him in a hurry, lest we lose people's support. Jiang Tian nodded slightly, then turned his head and said calmly, Shun Tej, what can I do for you? I heard that you want to kill me? Immortal Master Jiang, you are at the second level of the Foundation establishment stage. You are very powerful. I dare not act rashly. Shun Tej cupped his fists, but there was a hint of mockery in his eyes. He said with a smile, This time, I am here to deliver an invitation letter to my master, Li Longyuan. Oh. Jiang Tian smiled faintly. What was supposed to come was finally coming. Besides, Immortal Master Jiang, I think you'd better let Master Pudu go and stop killing. Shun Tej glanced at Pudu and said seriously, He healed you for the sake of saving the world. He's here to treat your injuries and resolve a massacre for the people of the world. Why do you have to be so unreasonable and overbearing? In the end, you'll end up being the laughingstock of the world. I'm aggressive? Jiang Tian snorted coldly and said with a disdainful smile. Do I need him to heal me? Do I need him to convert me? It's all his own will. Besides, tonight, I saved him and the monks of the demon-subduing temple first, but he attacked me from behind. If I don't kill him, do you think I, Kong Taechu, am easy to bully? Immortal Master Jiang, do you think anyone will believe you if you say this? Shun Tej smiled bitterly and said unhurriedly, This time, I am here to deliver the invitation letter to the Qingqiu Mountain Festival on behalf of the Heavenly Star Palace, the Giant Sword Sect, the Heartless Sect, Wild Wave City, Floating Spear City, Star Capital City, and many other forces. I believe that with Immortal Master Jiang's wisdom, you should understand what everyone means, right? If you kill Master Pudu at this time, you will become the public enemy of the world. There will be no room for negotiation. As if victory was in his hands, he straightened his body, put his hands behind his back, and said arrogantly, Immortal Master Jiang, why don't you give me face and let Master Pudu go? When the time comes, I can put in a good word for you when the knife is on your neck. Chapter 944. At this time, Baizé smiled slyly and said with his divine sense, Brother Jiang, I'm afraid this is a conspiracy. Even if you let Pudu go, Shen Tij won't speak up for you. He's just a safeguard for Pudu's life. He smirked with a hint of mockery. If you kill Pudu, you'll become the public enemy. But if you don't kill him, you'll feel very aggrieved. Humans are really 100 times more dangerous than demons. We use our sharp claws to harm people, but they use tricks, framing, and sneak attacks. Morality and justice, hee. Brother Jiang. At this time, another voice came. It was Ding Lai, the city lord of Star Capital, who came in a carriage. Why are you here? Jiang Tian's expression was strange. In Jiang Tian's plan, Ding Lai was a spy who came to take down the entire Starry Palace during Jiang Tian's final battle. He was probably exposed now that he was here. The lid has been lifted. Li Longyuan has already noticed. Ding Lai smiled bitterly and sighed. Our whole family has been cursed by him. If you don't attend the event, we'll all die. Jiang Tian didn't panic at all. He nodded and said calmly, Don't worry, I'll go. Master Kong, don't go. I'm here to tell you don't go, save your strength first. Li Longyuan won't dare to kill me. Now he's using conciliatory tactics to win public support. Ding Lai leaned over to Jiang Tian's ear and whispered, But you can't kill Pudu. Because the previous abbot of the demon-subduing temple, Master Shixiang, has come out of seclusion. It's said that he has also cultivated to the golden core stage. If you kill Pudu, you'll have another powerful enemy. Originally, the Starry Palace, the Giant Sword Sect, and several large cities hated you. The demon-subduing temple and many small and medium-sized sects showed a neutral attitude. But if you kill Pudu, plus the demon-subduing temple, the Heartless sect, and other small and medium-sized forces, you'll really be the enemy of the whole world. At this moment, Master Pudu could be said to have triggered a chain reaction. To put it bluntly, the demon-suppressing temple was secretly controlled by the Heavenly Star Palace. They used the Dharma to paralyze and stabilize the middle and lower classes. But this kind of paralysis and thought control was very successful. Many poor commoners treated the demon-suppressing temple as their savior. They had many supporters and believers. Once Pudu was killed, Jiang Tian would lose the support of the people, which was equivalent to declaring war on the entire Heavenly Star small world. It was no longer just a declaration of war against the Heavenly Star Palace and Li Longyuan. The mastermind behind this scheme had taken advantage of this point. If the devil-suppressing temple got rid of Jiang Tian, then so be it. However, if Jiang Tian decided to deliver salvation and massacre the monks of devil-subduing temple, he would be consigned to eternal damnation. They were merciful, slaying demons and devils, occupying the moral high ground of the world. How could Jiang Tian kill them? Ding Lai explained carefully and then said sincerely, Brother Jiang, bear with it for a while. You should get rid of Li Longyuan first, stabilize the Heavenly Star domain, and then settle the score with the demon-suppressing temple. Shen Tij also crossed his arms and looked at Jiang Tian with a half-smile, his eyes full of mockery. Ding Lai was not stupid, and neither were the others. They all understood that Jiang Tian was now in a dilemma. Seeing Jiang Tian frown slightly, Master Pudu smiled crazily and roared wildly. Kong Teichu, do you think you are so great? You don't know the insidiousness and wisdom of cultivators. At this moment, his shameless true colors were all exposed. He laughed loudly and said, The humans of the Earth domain are too naive and stupid. Do you think you can kill everyone in the Heavenly Star small world with your cultivation? You can't. This penniless monk likes to see the look of helplessness on your face when you're unhappy with me. Ha ha ha. Come on, kill me. Oh, as you wish. Jiang Tian nodded indifferently. Suddenly he swung his sword. Poof. Blood splattered. Master Pudu's bald head flew up and landed on the ground. His eyes were still open, full of shock, astonishment, and unwillingness. It seemed that he could not believe that he had died in such a way. Everyone's faces were filled with shock, and they all revealed looks of disbelief. Kong Teichu had killed Master Pudu with one move. This was tantamount to committing a crime against the entire world. It was simply making an enemy of the entire small world. Even Shen Tij was shocked. Then he frowned and said, Kong Teichu, you really dared to kill him? I dared to kill Li Longyuan, let alone him. Jiang Tian's face was calm, and his eyes were indifferent. Was he threatening Jiang Tian? In the immortal world and the immortal world, he had never taken a step back. He was not afraid of facing a Zenith Heaven Golden Immortal or a primordial god, let alone Master Pudu. In the eyes of the world, the Yin sect was unreachable, powerful, and unshakable. But in Jiang Tian's eyes, they were just a bunch of chickens and dogs. A mere perfected foundation establishment. Bald Donkey dared to threaten Kong Teichu. Did he have a death wish? Fine, fine, fine. Immortal Master Jiang, since you won't give me face, you and I will be mortal enemies when we meet again. Shen Tij gritted his teeth and sneered. Immortal Master Jiang, you're really... Sigh. Ding Lai looked distressed and let out a long sigh. Master Pudu had been killed, and this matter had blown up. Master Pudu was not like the Qing Xian Paozi, Taoist Graphite, or Fang Jingqiang. He had too much influence and connections in this world. Since Immortal Master Jiang has such courage, you should dare to accept this invitation. 7 days later, I invite Immortal Master Jiang to Qingqiu Mountain outside Star Capital, by the Raging Waves River for a grand event. Shen Tij's expression was cold as he took out a golden-laid jade talisman invitation and handed it over with both hands. War God Shen, this matter can be discussed slowly. I will personally meet Li Longyuan. Before Jiang Tian could accept it, Ding Lai had already stepped forward and stopped him. This was clearly an invitation to a battle. In fact, many major cities and sects had wanted to kill Jiang Tian for a long time, but Jiang Tian had not officially accepted the challenge. There was still room for negotiation. But Jiang Tian accepting the invitation was equivalent to accepting the challenge. There was no room for negotiation. That was also the reason why Ding Lai had come here to stop Jiang Tian from accepting the challenge. In his opinion, Jiang Tian had no chance of winning at all. But as long as Jiang Tian did not accept the challenge, he would not die. There was still a chance for him to turn the tables. Jiang Tian was very talented. If he avoided the edge and cultivated in seclusion for 20 years, he might be able to overturn the Heavenly Star Palace. Brother Jiang, as long as you don't accept this invitation, I have a way to protect you. Ding Lai looked at Jiang Tian and said in a low voice. Ding Lai also had a lot of influence in the Heavenly Star Palace. His father was the previous generation's law-enforcing elder. Now several elders were on good terms with him. Moreover, his sister was Li Longyuan's Dao companion. Of course, she was not the mother of the Azure Mystic sect's Dao disciple, so he did not have any ill feelings toward Jiang Tian. Therefore, there was still room for negotiation. He even thought that he had the ability to make them not attack Jiang Tian. Haha, Immortal Master Jiang is the #1 person on Earth. He's the master of the Demon Cave, and even occupies a desolate city. Shen Tij sneered. Immortal Master Jiang won't be reduced to being protected by a woman and a few old men, right? Immortal Master Jiang is now invaded by demonic qi, and is seriously injured. His cultivation has dropped greatly, and you want to gang up on him at this time? That's too despicable. Ding Lai heard this and glared angrily. Shen Tij, you are the lord of a city, known as the war god of this world. You are a famous figure. Taking advantage of others' difficulties, despicable and shameless. Aren't you afraid of being laughed at by the world? You said that you wanted to destroy Jadewell Peak and kill Immortal Master Jiang. Why didn't you dare to go when Brother Jiang's cultivation was still there? Now you jump out and clamor. Don't you feel embarrassed? Ding Lai, you're about to die, and you still dare to be presumptuous with me. Shen Tij heard this and couldn't help but blush. Then he shouted angrily out of humiliation. After Jiang Tian defeated Fang Jingqiang, he was indeed a little afraid of Jiang Tian. It was because Miayu challenged Jiang Tian, and Jiang Tian didn't dare to meet the enemy. He concluded that Jiang Tian was only at the second level of foundation establishment, and his cultivation was damaged. That was why he dared to come out. I'll accept the invitation. I'll definitely be there on time. Jiang Tian waved his right hand and took the invitation. Then he said calmly, "But you have to pass on a message to them for me." "What?" "Wash your neck clean and wait for me to chop it off." Jiang Tian smiled faintly. Jiang Haishan and Ding Lai shook their heads and smiled bitterly. Even if Jiang Tian was infected by the demonic qi and his cultivation had plummeted, he was still so domineering and not weaker than others. But this was also what they admired about Jiang Tian the most. A good man didn't have to compromise for the general interest. Why did he have to act according to other people's wishes? Some people threw away their dignity and groveled for the rest of their lives. They might as well live a day with an indomitable spirit. This was what it meant to be human. Okay, then we'll wait for Immortal Master Zhang's arrival. Shen Tij cupped his fists and stepped onto the flying sword, leading everyone into the sky. The moment he turned around, his face suddenly became gloomy. His eyes were filled with hatred, contempt, and coldness as he gritted his teeth. After tonight, he could be said to hate Jiang Tian to the bone, and wish for nothing more than to eat Jiang Tian's flesh and skin. Jiang Tian killed Master Pudu in front of him, which was tantamount to not taking him seriously. It was tantamount to slapping him in the face. If word got out, everyone would laugh at him. He was the god of war of Heavenly Star Small World, the lord of a giant city, and a legendary figure of a generation. But he couldn't suppress a foundation establishment ant from Earth. Moreover, protecting Master Pudu was also a part of his huge plan. Now that Jiang Tian killed Master Pudu in front of him, even Li Longyuan would think that he was incompetent and look down on him. However, a moment later, Shen Tij grinned smugly. "Kong Teichu, oh Kong Teichu, how dare you kill Master Pudu? I'll see how long you can be arrogant. Your cultivation was originally only at the second level of foundation establishment. You relied on elixirs, evil magic, and secret methods to forcibly raise your cultivation. I'm afraid you've been seriously injured. Now with the invasion of the demonic qi, your divine sense is polluted, your dantian is damaged, and your cultivation is almost lost. You killed Master Pudu. Once the Green Hill Grand Meeting is held, you will be the enemy of the whole world, and everyone will want to kill you. The powerhouses of Heavenly Star Small World will tear you to pieces. With so many powerhouses, each of them can stab you to death with a finger." Chapter 945. After Shen Tij left, the monks of the demon-subduing temple also collected Master Pudu's body and left. "Immortal Master Jiang, don't be rash. There are too many powerful cultivators this time. If Fang Jingqiang was still alive, he wouldn't even be ranked among them." Zen Master Dexin bowed to Jiang Tian and said in a deep voice. Jiang Tian nodded and said, "Dexin, you have Buddha nature, but you're surrounded by fake monks. You can go outside and take a look to increase your experience." "Thank you for your guidance, Immortal Master Jiang." Zen Master Dexin looked confused and hurried away. "Kong Teichu, you killed Abbot Pudu. Our demon-subduing temple must avenge this great hatred. We'll wait for you at the Green Hill Grand Meeting. We'll tear you into pieces then." However, except for Zen Master Dexin, everyone looked at Jiang Tian with anger and resentment. Their hearts were full of hatred. Jiang Tian's expression was indifferent and disdainful. Humans were like this. They feared power but did not care about virtue. When these monks faced the tree demon, they were so scared that their souls left their bodies. They covered their heads and fled like rats. However, when facing Jiang Tian, they felt that Jiang Tian's cultivation had dissipated and that he was no longer a threat, so they dared to be presumptuous. When the monks of the demon-subduing temple carried Master Pudu's body out of the demon cave mountain and walked all the way to the demon-subduing temple, they accused Jiang Tian of heinous crimes. Everyone was shocked and could not believe it. The entire Heavenly Star Small World was like a ladle of cold water poured into a hot oil pan. It was completely boiling. Kong Teichu actually attacked Zen Master Pudu. Zen Master Pudu was trying to heal his injuries and convert him. I never expected Kang Taechu to be so fierce. He repaid kindness with ingratitude. He's inhumane. This guy is too terrifying. He can be called a devil. We must eliminate him. We can't let him live. After all, Master Pudu had always been an eminent monk. He had once roamed the world, slaying demons and devils, guarding the vicissitudes of the righteous path in the world. He had once practiced medicine to help the world, using the boundless Dharma to deliver all living beings from torment, treating the poor people. He advised people to do good, and resolved many grudges and killings. He told people to lay down their weapons and become Buddhas. He had formed many good karma. Many people had committed heinous crimes, and he would plead on their behalf, stepping out to protect them. Most importantly, Master Pudu had gone there to resolve Jiang Tian's sin of killing, and to heal Jiang Tian's injuries. It could be said that he had delivered charcoal in snowy weather. But Jiang Tian actually killed him. Actually, there was a reason why Master Immortal Jiang took action. Monk de Xian couldn't take it anymore, and wanted to explain to everyone. Pa. A monk sent him flying with a slap and berated loudly. De Xian, you are speaking up for the devil path. Do you want to become a devil too? Aren't you going to avenge Master? Master wanted to form a good relationship with him and save his life, but he ambushed and killed Master. He repaid kindness with ingratitude. De Xian, you don't deserve to be a monk of the demon-subduing temple. Get lost. A few monks flipped him to the ground and tore off his identity certificate, prayer beads, and even his monk robes and pants. Monk de Xian stood on the street in a pair of large underpants, trembling. He stared blankly at the monks, unable to continue reading the Buddhist scriptures in his heart. How could Kang Taechu do such a thing? Some of the martial artists and cultivators who supported Jiang Tian couldn't believe it when they heard the news. Kang Taechu, you claim to be the #1 person on earth in vain. Master Pudu wanted to expiate your sins and treat your internal injuries to save your life, but you killed him. How disgusting. At this moment, merciless Sex Miayu denounced Jiang Tian in public, full of hatred. Do you still believe him now? I said that he is a person who fishes for fame. Do you still not believe me? Then, Shen Tej also confirmed this and claimed that he had tried to persuade him, but he couldn't stop him. Kang Taechu was no match for Master Pudu at first. Master Pudu had been seriously injured in order to kill a monster, so Kang Taechu took advantage of the situation to sneak an attack. If the words of the monks of the demon-subduing temple were only one-sided, then the words of the two sect masters were equivalent to official propaganda. Master Ashen Pine, the sect master of the Giant Sword sect, also spoke with righteous indignation. Kang Taechu, my junior brother, Taoist Graphite, killed the blue-eyed toad and saved your life. I didn't expect you to kill him and steal his treasure. As he spoke, many people suddenly realized that the blue-eyed toad had been killed by Taoist Graphite. Humans on Earth are like beasts. Those who are not of our kind must have a different heart. Those who are strong are bandits. Those who are weak are humble and don't care about kindness. The vice sect master of the Giant Sword sect said with disdain. That's right. Earth is too backward. It's like a primitive world where beasts run wild. Everyone has the face of a human, but the heart of a beast. If they are not complacent, it will backfire and cause harm. Someone immediately agreed. In fact, many of the upper and middle class of the Heavenly Star small world despised Earth. It was as if their homeland was just a ruin and a livestock farm. As the saying goes, public opinion can distort gold. If a lie was told 10,000 times, it would become true. What's more, those who said these words were some famous big shots in the Heavenly Star. Kang Taechu is even more ferocious than Li Longyuan. If he controls the Heavenly Star domain, I'm afraid we will be even more miserable than before. Despicable villain. We can't support him. Supporting him is inviting a wolf into the house. Our Rumbling Sky mercenary group, from today onwards, will withdraw from the Demon Cave Mountain Volunteer Army and cut all ties with Kang Taechu. This time, even some of Jiang Tian's supporters were shaken. Some even directly changed sides. In the Giant Sword sect, several big shots of the Heavenly Star domain gathered to conspire. Master Ashenpine sneered and said disdainfully, This Kong Teichu's reputation is completely ruined. We can kill him however we want. That's right. Shen Tej smiled and said, actually, there's nothing to be afraid of about Kong Teichu. However, this kind of free and undisciplined thinking is too scary. Once it spreads, the country will no longer be a country. Now that Palace Lord Li Longyuan has offended the lower and middle class for this world, we must stabilize. Fortunately, Kong Teichu has fallen into our trap step by step. The leader of the Feather Guard, Li Zixing, snorted. Before this, if we had killed him at the meeting of the Green Mountains, there would definitely be people who would say that we bullied a junior of the Foundation establishment, who had lost all his cultivation for revenge. But now who cares? Even if we gang up and attack them, no one will say anything. They will only clap and cheer. Morality is already on our side. Master Ashenpine sipped his tea and said calmly, he's just a little kid from Earth. This poor Taoist has eaten more salt than the rice he has eaten. When it comes to scheming and scheming, he's too far behind us. The feather uniform guard Li Zixing's face suddenly turned serious as he asked, City Lord Shen, has Kong Teichu really lost all his cultivation? More or less. Shen Tej frowned and pondered for a while before mocking. I didn't expect him to go to the Red Thunder Mountain and be infected with demonic aura when he's only at the second stage Foundation establishment realm. That demonic aura might have come from the great immortal demon war of the Heavenly God sect, or even before that. It's very vicious. Now his divine sense is in chaos, and his Dantian is lifeless. I'm afraid he can't use any of his abilities. What right does he have to fight with us? Just wait for death. Everyone present burst into laughter as if Jiang Tian was a soft persimmon that they could pinch. While these enemies and opponents were waiting to see Jiang Tian make a fool of himself. Jiang Tian had already started his second seclusion in the Red Thunder Mountain. Chu Yunxiu took advantage of the chaos to run away, and Jiang Tian was too lazy to care about her. Anyway, she couldn't make any big waves. Jiang Tian asked Jiang Haishan and Ding Lai to bring Xiao Yingluo back to Jadewell Peak. According to Jiang Tian's instructions, the rebel army was directly dismissed, and the main backbone hid their identities to preserve their strength. Now Li Longyuan clearly wanted to use the name of the vicissitudes of the righteous path to have a peak confrontation. Killing him alone wouldn't affect the others, because Li Longyuan was also afraid that suppressing the rebel army would cause a backlash from the bottom. In that case, Jiang Tian wouldn't borrow the power of the rebel army. The rebel army was already useless. Big brother Jiang, what should we do? Now there are many people outside who want to kill you. When they parted, Xiao Yingluo was very reluctant. She wanted to stay behind to protect Jiang Tian and help Jiang Tian heal and break through. It's okay. Go back quickly. Actually, I'm not injured. The demonic aura won't affect me much. Jiang Tian touched her little head and chuckled. Then you must take care. If you haven't recovered, don't go to the appointment. Xiao Yingluo reminded him again and again, looking back 3 times with every step. In the end, she was still taken away by Jiang Haishan and Ding Lai. In this way, only Jiang Tian, Yi Tianren, the Old Dragon, and the Demon King Baizhe were left in Crimson Thunder Mountain. While he's in seclusion, I'll secretly kill him. Then, I'll grind away the magical power and divine sense on the feather robe and star crown, and he'll become my treasure. Big Demon Baizhe's eyes turned and a plan came to his mind. He secretly gritted his teeth. Celestial, Old Dragon, I'll teach you the method to control the feather robe and star crown, Jiang Tian said with a smile. Yes. Yi Tianren bowed and cupped his fists. Little White, be obedient and be my little brother. The Old Dragon was very excited. He touched Baizhe's head with his big claws and laughed. Don't compete with me in the future, or I'll make you lick my toes. This despicable thief is really cunning. Baizhe glared at Jiang Tian fiercely, and was so angry that he almost vomited blood. Also, who wants to compete with you? How can I be a slave? You useless black dog. Jiang Tian transmitted his divine sense, and quickly taught the Old Dragon and Yi Tianren the method to control the feather robe and star crown, so that they could control Baizhe at any time. In this way, Jiang Tian could go into seclusion in peace, and Baizhe also became Jiang Tian's guard. Everything was ready. Jiang Tian sat cross-legged on the top of Crimson Thunder Mountain, and first used the great imperial demon art to refine the demonic qi in his mind. Whoosh! The latter was quickly refined by Jiang Tian, and became part of Jiang Tian's divine sense. Now Jiang Tian's divine sense had been divided into 4. In the Naiwan Palace in the middle of his forehead, the divine sense of his main body was rippling like a vast golden lake. The second primordial spirit sat in it like a golden body dharma form. The soul devourer's divine sense was like black glue floating around the golden body dharma form. The demonic qi and demonic will that had just been absorbed floated around the second primordial spirit like a black fog. As the cultivation technique was activated, Jiang Tian suddenly had a demonic nature. A demon gradually appeared behind Jiang Tian's head. Chapter 946. This demon had the body of a snake and the head of a human. It had 8 arms, and its face was very similar to Jiang Tian's. However, it was extremely ferocious and terrifying. It continued to expand and rose from the ground. Eventually, it became taller and bigger, until it was over 100 feet tall. Its body reached into the depths of the clouds and into the rolling sea of thunder. These demonic thoughts had destructive power. They specialized in polluting Dharma treasures and immortal artifacts, disintegrating Dharma treasures and destroying other people's divine sense. A drop of demonic thoughts could obliterate the divine soul, and easily kill a foundation establishment stage expert. Moreover, it had condensed a physical body and was very powerful, comparable to a golden core stage expert. When it manifested, heaven and earth were restless. Spirit chi and miasma surged like tides, lightning flashed and thunder roared. However, even if the bucket-sized thunder and lightning kept striking, it did not collapse at all. The surrounding demonic beasts comparable to foundation establishment and false core stage experts were frightened and ran in all directions. Some even hugged their heads and crawled on the ground, shivering like quails in the cold wind. Oh my God, isn't this the demon that fought with the God of God? Why is he manifested? Seeing this, Baizé was so scared that his face turned pale. His whole body trembled and he could not wait to run away. After all, this demon was a terrifying existence that could crush the God of God. He had also tortured him and left a serious psychological shadow. However, this mass of demonic thoughts and demonic qi was completely controlled by Jiang Tian's demonic technique. Under Jiang Tian's command, it immediately retracted into his mind. This kid is simply heaven-defying and terrifying. Sensing Jiang Tian's change, great monster Baizé's heart palpitated. Who said that earth was easy to bully? It was simply terrifying. It was so terrifying that it was insane. One had to know that the tree demon was originally a figure of the same generation as the God of God. He was powerful and his demonic techniques were heavenly. However, he could not refine the demonic qi and demonic thoughts. He was eroded by the demonic qi and demonic thoughts until he was cruel and bloodthirsty. In the end, he became the scourge of this continent. But now, this 20-year-old kid was able to refine the demonic qi and control it freely in a few hours. It was too terrifying. He did not know that the great imperial demonic technique was originally created by Jiang Tian when he attacked the devil world. The idea behind this cultivation method was to use the devil to subdue the devil. In order to exterminate the devil, one must first become a devil, or even a devil among devils. Relying on this technique, Jiang Tian had once swept through several devil realms, and no one knew how many devil lords had been killed and refined by Jiang Tian with this technique. As for the devil qi and devil will on the tree demon, without the support of the devil head's blood essence, it had been eroded for tens of thousands of years, and was very weak. If Jiang Tian wanted to devour and refine it, it would be a matter of seconds. After refining the devil qi and devil will into a devil with the body of a snake, Jiang Tian suddenly felt his mind clear up, and his spiritual sense was even stronger than before. At present, Jiang Tian's consciousness already had 4 parts. The main body's consciousness, the second primordial spirit, the soul devourer's consciousness, and the snake devil. Every single one of them was abnormally powerful and could cooperate with each other, combining and changing at will. It far surpassed the divine sense of a golden core cultivator. Alright, it's time to use the whirling divine tree to transform my wood elemental divine body. 7 days should be enough. The corners of Jiang Tian's mouth curled into a smile. Then he patted the vessel nurturing gourd at his waist, and a crystal-clear piece of wood jumped out like an emerald. This piece of wood was only the size of an egg. It was crystal clear, flowing with colorful lights, and emitted a magical aura, like green tentacles wriggling around. The green tentacles were verdant and had a vigorous aura of life. When it wriggled to Great Demon Bai Zai's body, suddenly, there was a soft pop sound on Great Demon Bai Zai's head, and a green sprout emerged. Why is there a green leaf on my head? Great Demon Bai Zai held the leaf in his hand. But suddenly, roots quickly emerged from the green leaf. The roots grabbed the ground and kept getting thicker and bigger. At the same time, the green leaf rapidly swelled, sprouting branches and green leaves crazily growing out of it. This vitality! Great Demon Bai Zai was dumbfounded. Suddenly, whoosh, whoosh. The original green leaf turned into a tree in the blink of an eye, reaching 100 meters tall and hanging Bai Zai on it. Immortal Master Jiang, what is that in your hand? Bai Zai looked down in horror. He saw that Jiang Tian was surrounded by a green aura, and all the plants were growing crazily. The originally thin vines became as thick as buckets, swaying in the air like giant pythons, and the green grass became hacksaws. Many trees rose from the ground, becoming thicker and bigger, like giant umbrellas covering the sky. Even the seeds deep in the soil, and the decaying dead trees on the ground grew green leaves. This is the demonic core of the tree demon. But it has already refined the fiend chi, and it's all pure vitality, Jiang Tian said lightly. The demonic core of the tree demon? It shouldn't have such terrifying vitality. Great Demon Bai Zai jumped down and said in confusion. Because this is a whirling divine tree, a tree that can produce wood-type plants on a planet. Jiang Tian said with a smile. Whirling divine tree. Great Demon Bai Zai exclaimed, his eyes full of shock and envy. This tree demon is actually a whirling divine tree under the fiend chi. A whirling divine tree that can create a planet or even a world. Can you give me a little? The greater demon Bai Zai's saliva almost flowed out as he pleaded with a pitiful expression. You know what's good for you. Jiang Tian sneered and activated the transcending 9 transformation art. Surging true essence condensed into a furnace in front of Jiang Tian's chest, enveloping the spirit wood demon core and refining it. The green spirit wood demon core suddenly turned into a green trickle, like tentacles, and rushed towards Jiang Tian's dantian. At the same time, there was also a significant change in Jiang Tian's sea of vital energy. On the vast plain of heptagold metal block array, on the shore of the lake where the mystic water surged, a small seedling with the image of a whirling divine tree began to grow slowly. At this moment, Jiang Tian's skin, eyebrows, hair, and even eyes began to emit rays of green light. Gradually, his entire body became crystal clear, overflowing with light and color. The chi of the whirling divine tree was extremely vast, filling and nourishing every cell of Jiang Tian, transforming him in the direction of the whirling divine tree body. The heptagold metal block array in his dantian was covered with a layer of green chi, like a carpet of green grass. A giant azure dragon rose from the undulating mystic water lake. Its scales were dense and extraordinary, and it opened its mouth to spray mystic water on the whirling divine tree seedling. The whirling divine tree's chi was exuberant and extremely dense. Its roots grew crazily and firmly grasped the heptagold metal block array like a dragon's claw, constantly transforming the spirit chi of the divine tree and the mystic water true essence into wood true essence. Even the heptagold metal and thunder true essence were transformed into wood true essence. The whirling divine tree's trunk gradually became thicker, its branches and leaves luxuriant, and it became a towering tree. Even the purple lightning eyes in the depths of his eyes gradually became more solid, and his strength increased by several times. The Transcendent 9 transformation art was to use the Tao of elemental creation and destruction to refine the 9 transformation chaotic divine body that surpassed ordinary divine bodies. At that time, once the chaotic physique was completed, the 9 types of elements and 9 types of physiques would circulate endlessly and would never dry up, becoming one of the strongest physiques in the universe. While Jiang Tian was cultivating in seclusion in the Crimson Thunder Mountain, to achieve the transformation of the Azure Dragon Mystic Water Divine Body into the Whirling Divine Tree Body, a piece of news swept across the universe like a hurricane, spreading throughout the heavenly star small world, making people dumbfounded and in disbelief. Kong Teichu will go to the Green Hill meeting in 7 days to meet the Palace Master of the Heavenly Star Palace, Li Longyuan. Originally, in the Heavenly Star small world, the Heavenly Star Palace suppressed thousands of sects and factions and whipped the world, making many people hate it to the bone. Jiang Tian, the Qingxian Daozi, destroyed the army of the desolate border. Many people even applauded and supported it. However, since Jiang Tian met Master Pudu, everything changed. Countless people were filled with righteous indignation. They thought that Jiang Tian was not there to kill Li Longyuan, but to become enemies with all the major forces and wanted to destroy the entire Heavenly Star small world. In addition, some people fanned the flames. Some of Jiang Tian's supporters also changed sides and announced to the world that they were drawing a clear line with Jiang Tian. Sigh, I didn't expect him to be a despicable and shameless demon king with such thick eyebrows and big eyes. The leader of the Flying Rainbow Bounty, the Hunters, felt like his idol had been destroyed and was very unhappy. Kong Teichu dared to kill Master Pudu. We must kill him. Many people united with a common enemy and wanted to trample this ant from the lower domain, who dared to provoke the Heavenly Star domain to death. What is he going to do at the Green Hill meeting? Is he going to die? Many people mocked Jiang Tian's actions and thought that Jiang Tian was digging his own grave. Back then, when Miayu went to challenge him at the Jade Well Peak, he admitted that he was at the second level of the Foundation Establishment realm and ran away. The sect leader of the Serpent Desire sect said disdainfully, "Later, I heard from the eminent monks of the Demon Subduing Temple that his demonic chi had invaded his body and severely damaged his divine sense and dantian. I'm afraid that his cultivation has been destroyed and he has become a useless person. Isn't he going to die? This person must be going there to ask for forgiveness." The old cultivator of the Li River Sword sect smiled bitterly. Maybe he has a special secret method to increase his cultivation and combat power, so that he can last a little longer. But in the battle with Fang Jingqiang, he was already at the end of his rope. Now that he has suffered so much, I'm afraid that he doesn't even have the cultivation of the Foundation Establishment realm. Now, other than asking for forgiveness, what else can he do? Everyone thought so and nodded in agreement. Sigh, Kong Teichu is willing to take on this disaster alone for the safety of the Earth realm. He is indeed merciful. Master Yuan Jing of the Prajna Temple seemed to admire Jiang Tian very much as he commented, "Although Kong Teichu is definitely going to die, we still have to go and cheer for the Heavenly Star Palace. After all, when he came to the Heavenly Star domain, he killed Taoist Graphite, Fang Jingqiang and many other experts. We have to come out and reprimand Kong Teichu to show that the Heavenly Star domain is superior, and not something that the ants of Earth can provoke." Some of the older generation sect masters suggested this. Yes, we have to go and witness this. Countless cultivators and experts rushed from all directions to Wild Wave City and Qingqiu Mountain. Kong Teichu asking for forgiveness, and the Heavenly Star Palace killing the #1 person of the Earth realm was a matter of great importance. It represented the complete suppression of the Heavenly Star small world over the Earth realm, and it would even go down in history. Who didn't want to watch this show? Chapter 947. As the 7-day deadline approached, Jiang Tian also reached the final stage of his breakthrough. The wood-type spirit chi in the whirling divine tree was too vast. It was continuously converted into wood-type true essence, pushing Jiang Tian to the 5th, 6th, 7th, 9th level of the Foundation Establishment level. Rumble. In the void, a huge vortex appeared out of thin air. It was 1,000 feet long, like a heavenly canopy, enveloping the entire Crimson Lightning Mountain. The whirlpool was very deep. Countless dragon-like thunders, tide-like spirit chi, and colorful spirit chi were all pulled into the whirlpool by a huge force, gathering towards Jiang Tian's Dantian. That's terrifying. Is this the breakthrough of the Foundation establishment level? It's even more terrifying than a Golden Core Overlord's breakthrough. Bai Zai's eyes almost popped out of their sockets in disbelief. At this point, the true essence in Jiang Tian's body had reached an extremely dense level. His Dantian had expanded by more than 10 times, and the heptagold metal nuggets were like fertile fields. They were gradually piled up into mountains and peaks. The mystic water lake had also become a lot bigger. White waves surged into the sky and water vapor filled the air. There were clouds floating above the lake. There were even purple thunderbolts. This was the result of Jiang Tian's purple lightning eyes being nourished by his Dantian. If there was enough nourishment, Jiang Tian could even turn into a thunder physique unknowingly. Beside the mystic water lake, there was a whirling divine tree. Its giant crown was like a canopy of clouds. Countless branches and leaves reached deep into the sky. They were full of vitality and green. The green divine tree's true essence was filled with a chaotic energy, as if it could hold up the sky and create a universe. This whirling divine tree is really powerful. Its spirit core pushed me to the 9th level of the Foundation establishment level. Jiang Tian felt that there was an endless amount of energy in his body, as if he could lift the sky with one hand and tear the earth apart with his bare hands. The corners of his mouth couldn't help but reveal a hint of joy. Ever since he returned, the spirit chi on earth had been thin, and he hadn't felt this powerful for a long time. At this moment, Jiang Tian's aura had reached its peak. He was like an indomitable giant that could pluck the stars and grab the moon from the sky. It was as if he could destroy a planet with a single finger and shatter the heavens with a single palm. Facing this terrifying energy, Yi Tianren and the old dragon were already pale. Even Bai Zai's scalp went numb and his heart almost exploded. This energy was comparable to that of the sect master of the heavens. Li Longyuan and the old golden core cultivators above him were even trash. After I suppress my cultivation to the 3rd level of the Foundation establishment level, I'll break through in seclusion. Jiang Tian's eyes narrowed. Whoosh. His momentum, which had reached its peak, suddenly shrank like a meteor and fell to the 3rd level of Foundation establishment. After a few breaths, his energy level of the chi cultivation of the heavens. In the end, Jiang Tian was silent like the vast earth, the majestic Mount Tai, and the eternal sky. He had reached a stage where his true essence was calm and his divine aura was restrained. Scary. This kid is scary. He obviously has the ability to kill Li Longyuan, but I can't see it. Bai Zai looked at Jiang Tian with more and more fear. He's obviously playing dirty, pretending to be a pig to eat the tiger. Who said the people on earth are easy to mess with? Li Longyuan, that idiot, provoked this kid. He's digging his own grave. This kid was so sinister. This time, Li Longyuan and the experts from the Stellar Sky Palace would be played to death by Jiang Tian. In fact, the entire Stellar Sky domain would definitely be turned upside down by Jiang Tian. Little Bai, what's the situation outside? Jiang Tian opened his eyes and asked slowly. Bai Zai's face twitched. He smiled and said, "The whole world is your enemy. Hee, is there anyone who doesn't want to kill you?" "The whole world is my enemy?" Jiang Tian stood up and smiled disdainfully. His eyes shot out bolts of lightning as he said disdainfully, "It's just a bunch of ants." "You're just a bunch of ants. Are you worthy of being my enemy? I'll let this world see how I can suppress an entire domain and crush thousands of sections." On the 25th of March, 2012, Jiang Tian left the Crimson Thunder Mountains, crossed the Demon Cave Mountains, crossed the Desolate City, and pointed his sword at Qingqiu Mountain. Qingqiu Mountain was located outside the star capital. It was more than 10,000 feet high, and the mountain rocks were majestic and steep. It was like a giant dragon lying across the land, majestic and endless. The peaks of the Demon Cave Mountains could not compare to it. The Qingqiu Palace was above the clouds. It was like an immortal's palace, overlooking the entire star capital. It was the location of this gathering. At this time, countless cultivators came from all over the Stellar Sky domain. Some were on flying swords, some were riding spirit birds, and some were in carriages. At this time, Qingqiu Mountain was crowded. Not only were there leaders of major sects and cities, But there were also members of aristocratic families, gangs, organizations, and other forces. It had turned into a boiling sea, filled with cultivators. At this time, a young woman was supporting a dying middle-aged man. They stepped on a flying sword and appeared on a peak of Qingqiu Mountain called Horse Rest Ridge. "Dad, do you think Kong Taichu will come this time?" The young woman was Chu Yunxiu. She held Chu Yonghui and asked with a serious expression, "I'm afraid he won't dare to come." Chu Yonghui, whose dantian was shattered and who had lost all his cultivation, looked defeated. He said with hatred, "If he comes, won't he be crushed by the heroes of the world? Look at how many experts Fang Zhufeng has sent. It's an inescapable net. If he comes, he'll have wings." There were too many cultivators participating in the Qingqiu Mountain gathering this time. So far, almost 10,000 people had arrived. The important figures participating in the gathering were all gathered at Fang Zhufeng, the main peak of Qingqiu Mountain, around the Life and Death Ring. The Life and Death Ring, also known as the Life and Death Ring, was a huge square with a radius of a few hundred acres. It was engraved with ancient Dao patterns. Even golden core experts would have a hard time destroying it. In the original Qingqiu Mountain gathering, every year, experts would fight on the Life and Death Ring to settle their grudges. Those who performed well would even be able to join the Heavenly Star Palace. In that hall, the masters of the Heavenly Star Palace, huge cities, and large sects were basically entrenched. They were all discussing the major events of the Heavenly Star small world. On the other peaks, there were some small and medium-sized sects, gangs, and itinerant cultivators. They were not qualified to enter Fang Zhufeng, and could only watch from afar. Horse Rest Ridge was where the cultivators parked their spirit beasts and spirit birds. After all, the cultivation world had a strict hierarchy. Fang Zhufeng was not small and could accommodate 10,000 people, but not everyone could go there. Moreover, these spirit beasts and spirit birds also needed to be fed and taken care of by someone. "Yes, his cultivation has already dissipated," Chu Yunxiu said with hatred. "However, he's now with the great demon Bai Zai. His nature is terrible. If we spread this news, he'll definitely become a target of public criticism." At this moment, she had completely forgotten that just a few days ago, she was still proud to be Bai Zai's disciple and servant. "Yes, if we report this to Palace Master Li Longyuan, it'll also be a great merit." Chu Yonghui gnashed his teeth in hatred and sighed repeatedly. "What a pity. Kong Taichu took over the magpie's nest. Our Jade Well Peak has fallen into the hands of Kong Taichu and has no status to speak of. Now we're not even qualified to enter Fang Zhufeng." Just as the two were discussing, suddenly, there was a rumble. Huge chariots filled with treasure light covered the sky and the sun. They soared into the sky and landed on Horse Rest Ridge. These chariots made of precious metal all had huge white phoenixes pulling them in front. Dao patterns and runes were inscribed on them, complemented by complicated and exquisite bird, beast, insect, and fish decorations. Inlaid with countless gems, they were dazzling and looked incomparably luxurious. Moreover, from the chariot, a wave of the city lord's aura was tyrannical and domineering, spreading in all directions. It seemed to be surging with momentum, and had the upper hand. Its wild wave city lord Seng Hongyuan, and his son Xingren Wang. Some cultivators were forced to stagger back from the pressure, and exclaimed, "We pay our respects to the wild wave city lord." When the tall and sturdy Seng Hongyuan appeared, many cultivators kowtowed and trembled as if they were seeing a god. After all, Seng Hongyuan was also a peak foundation establishment powerhouse with extraordinary strength. He could control a huge city and had the qualifications to speak directly with Li Longyuan. Chu Yonghui was overjoyed when he saw this. He pulled Chu Yunxiu forward quickly and said, "Back then, the Tseng family had shares in my Jade Well Company. Moreover, Seng Hongyuan thought very highly of you back then, and even proposed marriage to me." He rushed forward excitedly and shouted, "City Lord Seng, this time you have to make a decision for me." "Brother Chu, you're here." Seng Hongyuan only nodded slightly from afar. The other generals who were originally blocking Chu Yonghui all made way. Chu Yonghui came forward and kowtowed, crying and complaining about Jiang Tian's evil deeds. Chu Yunxiu also had a proper bearing and bowed. Behind Sung Hongyuan, his son Sung Renwang pulled Chu Yunxiu's soft little hand and smiled slyly. Yunxiu, you've suffered. Don't worry. My Sung family will definitely not sit by and do nothing. I will definitely kill Kong Taichu and avenge you. Now that the Chu family had lost Jadewell Peak, of course Chu Yunxiu wasn't worthy of him. But it was enough for her to be a concubine. Moreover, with this status, the Zheng family would be able to take over Jadewell Peak. It would be reasonable and worth it. Now, all the major forces were rubbing their palms in anticipation of Demon Cave Mountain. They were just waiting to kill Kong Taichu and snatch it. He said disdainfully, "This bastard's cultivation is already gone. He's a cripple, worse than a dog." Oh, so this is the Peak Lord of Jadewell Peak, Chu Yonghui. So he's also a foundation establishment powerhouse, a hero who ruled over a region. And Jiang Tian made him lose all his cultivation and property. How pitiful. This Kong Taichu is really ruthless and scary. When everyone heard Chu Yonghui's tearful complaints, they all felt deep sympathy for Chu Yonghui, and viewed Jiang Tian as a scourge. Sung Hongyuan stood with his hands behind his back and didn't help him up, as if he was just a commoner. Then he swept his gaze over the mountains and shouted, "Where is Kong Taichu? Get the hell out here." His voice exploded above everyone's heads like a tsunami, faintly containing the sound of a surging tide. Many people felt as if their souls were about to be destroyed. You bully the good and cause a storm of blood time and time again. I'll be the first to not let you go. I'll definitely cut you into 1,000 pieces, pull out your tendons and skin you alive. Sung Hongyuan puffed out his chest and folded his stomach, arrogant and majestic. The aura of a Peak Foundation establishment powerhouse erupted as he roared loudly. Chapter 948. There was dead silence. Everyone was suppressed by this monstrous power. Haha, City Lord Zheng's Raging Tide mystic technique has become more profound. Suddenly, a light voice sounded. With a whoosh, a young Taoist priest flew across the sky on a flying sword like a green rainbow. This person landed on the ground. He was tall and majestic and his face was like jade. A pair of sword-like eyebrows slanted to his temples. His temperament was otherworldly, and he looked extremely handsome. So it's Palace Lord Li's disciple Zhou Yunkai. Excuse me. Even when facing Chu Yonghui, Sung Hongyuan spoke bluntly. But now he was smiling and bowing to this Taoist priest with cupped fists, appearing very respectful. Zheng Renwang's face tightened. He walked a few steps quickly and half-knelt. He looked a little nervous as if he was looking at an elder. Chu Yonghui even kowtowed 3 times and 9 times, like a commoner seeing a noble. Zhou Yunkai did not return the greeting. He only nodded and said lightly, "Greetings, Senior Zheng." "Fellow Taoist Zhou, I'm not worthy of being called senior in front of you. Just call me Big Brother," Sung Hongyuan said with a smile. City Lord Zheng is flattering Zhou Yunkai so much? Isn't he giving too much face? Someone noticed this detail and said in shock. Flattering? Giving face? A cultivator at the side snorted. The new prodigy role has been announced. This time, the Starry Palace sent out many strong cultivators who were originally in seclusion. They are many times stronger than the previous batch of prodigies. For example, Miaoi and Zen Master Dashin did not get a number this time. And Zhou Yunkai, with his foundation establishment level 9 cultivation, got 3rd place. Even if Chu Yonghui is in his peak state, even City Lord Zheng is not his match. Zhou Yunkai can even compete with those sect masters and city lords. He's not even 30 years old. But he's already at foundation establishment level 9. That's too scary. So powerful. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air, and looked at Zhou Yunkai with reverence. Even Chu Yunxiu looked at Zhou Yunkai with reverence. Her heart was burning as if she had seen a god. 9th level of foundation establishment, 3rd place on the prodigy roll. Even the Taoist of Qingxian didn't have such strength back then. He cultivates the orthodox immortal sword technique. A single sword strike can destroy a city or a mountain, annihilate a city or a country, and kill thousands of people. It's far more terrifying than everyone can imagine. The man in the know said triumphantly, "How powerful do you think it is? This is definitely not something that those earth ants like Kong Taechu and those unorthodox sects can compare to. I heard that the top 9 geniuses of the genius ranking have all shown up. They are Li Qingxuan's martial brothers. It's obvious that they are here to avenge Dao Ziqing Xian." When these words were spoken, the entire area fell into a deathly silence. Many people felt that Jiang Tian's trip boded ill rather than well. The 9 great geniuses of the Starry Sky Palace. Which one of them wasn't a peerless genius? Which one of them didn't have an extraordinary inheritance? Which one of them didn't have a deep foundation? How could an ant from Earth like Kong Taechu compare to him? "Is this Miss Chu? I've heard of your tragic experience." Suddenly, Zhou Yunkai's gaze fell on Chu Yunxiu. A strange light flashed in the depths of his eyes. "Now that Kong Taechu is the public enemy of the Starry Sky Palace, we righteous sects will definitely not sit by and do nothing. Come with me, I'll let you see Kong Taechu's tragic end." "Thank you, young Master Zhou." Chu Yunxiu was flattered and overjoyed. She hurriedly bowed and thanked him. She was only the daughter of a peak master. There was still a big gap between her and the elites of the sections. Even at her peak, she didn't have much chance to come into contact with such a first-class figure on the genius ranking. Zhou Yunkai held her waist and stepped on a flying sword. They flew towards Fang Zhufeng. Behind them, Zheng Renwang was depressed. This woman was too lucky. Did Zhou Yunkai take a fancy to her? When they reached the top of Fang Zhufeng and entered a pavilion, one by one, the major sects and forces arrived one after another. A resplendent streak of light shot over from the sky. The giant sword sect was actually riding on a giant sword magical artifact that was about 100 meters long. It was like a large boat. There were several dozen cultivators wearing Taoist robes and feathered robes on it. They all had extraordinary bearings. They were like treasured swords that had been unsheathed, revealing their sharpness. Soon after, many female disciples of the Heartless sect stepped on a pleasure boat covered in ice and snow. They flew through the air and arrived. Wherever the pleasure boat passed, white mist filled the air. Heavy snow fluttered about. The world was austere and cold, as if they had stepped into the coldest winter. Miao Yi's face was covered in a veil. Her eyes were mournful, but she still received a wave of cheers. Many cultivators cheered for her beauty. Rumble. Golden springs surged from the ground and lotus flowers descended from the sky. Phantoms of the 8th Division Heavenly Dragon appeared in the air. Brilliant light shot out and Buddhist chants filled the air. The eminent monks of the Demon Suppression Temple have arrived. Many people cried out in alarm. There were even believers who kowtowed deeply. Some rode on strange beasts, some flew in the air on spirit birds, and some walked in the air with lotus blooming with every step. Amidst the various phenomena, there were 300 eminent monks, arhats and vajras. Especially the monk at the top. He looked solemn and dignified. The Buddhist light around him was dazzling. Many eminent monks sat high in the clouds like the sun in the sky. The golden light behind them was in the shape of a ring. It was dazzling and dyed the white clouds with a golden edge. It was extremely shocking. Its master Pudu's master, the previous abbot the abbot, and the head of the Arhut Hall. Everyone was shocked when they saw this. The Demon Suppression Temple had turned out in full force this time. Even the older generation had arrived. These were all old monsters with a lifespan of hundreds of years. They were all at the peak of the Fake Core realm, and had even reached the Golden Core realm. However, it was possible that they were unwilling to show their cultivation for various reasons. They were already older than Li Longyuan, and were of the same generation as Li Longyuan's father and master. Sai Kong Taechu is probably new here. He doesn't know the deep foundation of the Demon Suppression Temple at all. An old sect master clicked his tongue and said, "The Demon Suppression Temple alone has 300 late-stage foundation establishment cultivators. They can already be called exalted immortals. 300 exalted immortals are all here." Every level had a different reputation for cultivation. The cultivation methods on Earth were crude. After surpassing the immortal state, one's strength could be compared to the early-stage foundation establishment cultivators. They were called immortals or saints. However, in this star world, early-stage foundation establishment cultivators were generally called immortal masters. Mid-stage foundation establishment cultivators were called itinerant immortals. Late-stage foundation establishment cultivators, including the fake core cultivators, were called exalted immortals. Only those who reached the golden core cultivators were called true immortals and qualified to control this continent. 1, 2, 3. The Demon Suppression Temple, the Giant Sword Sect, and the Heartless Sect alone have 600 exalted immortals. The leaders of other small sects, cities, and forces added together, I'm afraid there are more than 1,000. At this time, Chu Yunxiu was sitting in an attic, looking out of the window with a shocked expression. This time, almost all the foundation establishment cultivators of the Heavenly Star Small World had come to the Green Hill Gathering. There were more than 1,000 late-stage foundation establishment cultivators. In addition, there were many sect masters, city masters, and even the masters of the previous generation. Would Kang Taechu still dare to come? He definitely won't dare to come, because he'll be courting death if he comes. He knows this. Chu Yunxiu shook her head gently, but she was very depressed. The Heavenly Star Palace and Li Longyuan shouldn't have made such a big fuss, because this would scare Jiang Tian so much that he wouldn't dare to come at all. It would be better to take them by surprise and kill their way to their doorstep. Not only did Chu Yunxiu think so, but Zhou Yunkai also thought so. He smiled disdainfully and said, "This time, the few senior brothers of the Heavenly Star Palace who were in seclusion have all come out. Almost all of them are late-stage foundation establishment cultivators and fake elixir realm cultivators. The prodigy role has been refreshed. Not to mention that there are senior masters like Grand Master Gong Xian from the Devil Suppressing Temple. I'm afraid any one of the masters on the prodigy roll this time can crush Kang Taechu into powder." Beside him, the other 8 prodigies all smiled disdainfully, too lazy to judge Jiang Tian. Almost all of them were at the 8th or 9th stage of foundation establishment cultivators, and there was even one fake elixir realm cultivator. Their auras were as heavy as mountains, and some were as sharp as unsheathed swords. Each of them was comparable to a sect master or a sect master. In this hall, everyone was from the younger generation. Almost all of them were at the foundation establishment cultivator level, and there were dozens of them. However, it was obvious that the 9 prodigies of the Heavenly Star Palace were the leaders. Zheng Renwang, who was in the back row, slammed the table and snorted. "That Kang Taechu is here. I'll kill him first. A mere ant from the Earth domain dares to cause trouble in the Heavenly Star domain. He's courting death." Among the crowd, only Ding Lingdong's face was cold and bitter. Now, she was already under the control of the Heavenly Star Palace, and had been beaten to the ground. Everyone looked at her with eyes full of schadenfreude, inquiry, disdain, and mockery. In everyone's eyes, the Ding Lai clan could be said to be complete idiots. They actually chose to team up with an ant from Earth and become enemies with the Heavenly Star Palace. This was tantamount to an ant trying to shake a tree. They were seeking their own deaths. Thousands of immortals have gathered. Such a glorious occasion has not been seen for hundreds of years. Many sect masters, city lords, and sect masters were very excited. They greeted each other and called out to their friends. They were in high spirits. It seemed that Li Longyuan's plundering these years was not completely meaningless. Although the lower levels were in dire straits and the people had no way of making a living, at least the upper levels had become very powerful. It seemed that within 10 years, the Heavenly Star Small World could produce 10 golden core cultivators and be promoted to a 3rd-level hidden cultivation sect. Meanwhile, Jiang Haishan and his son brought the Qiao siblings, the Stinky Monkey, and the others to Qingqiu Mountain in disguise. However, Jiang Haishan and the others did not dare to climb up the bamboo peak. They just blended in with the crowd on the secondary peak. "Sigh, it's really an inescapable net. I hope Immortal Master Jiang doesn't come." Jiang Haishan's face was very solemn. He sighed and said, "As long as Immortal Master Jiang is still alive, there will be a chance to turn the tables in 10 years. But if he comes this time, I'm afraid it's not good. I think Big Brother Jiang will definitely come." Xiao Yingluo shook her head. Her eyes flashed with worry. Why? Jiang Haishan glanced at her. City Lord Ding Lai has been exposed, and is under the control of others. Xiao Yingluo sighed gloomily. Although Big Brother Jiang is ruthless to his enemies, he will never let his comrades suffer. Sigh. City Lord Ding Lai. Yes. But at this time, Immortal Master Jiang should not lose the big picture for small gains. Jiang Haishan heard this and could not help but let out a long sigh. He admired Jiang Tian very much, but he was even more worried. Chapter 949. From Jiang Haishan's point of view, his worries were not unfounded. Although there was only a difference of one level between Foundation Establishment and Golden Core, the difference in strength was like heaven and earth. Although a Foundation Establishment cultivator had one foot in the door of cultivation, they were as weak as a 3-year-old child. As for Golden Core cultivators, their true essence condensed into an essence core, which was refined by heavenly lightning and earthly fire. It was extremely condensed. The golden core in the Dantian was extremely condensed, and was the essence of a solid state. It could release true essence as vast as the sea, and its lethality was extremely terrifying. Comparing Foundation Establishment and Golden Core was like comparing a newborn baby to boxing champion Mike Tyson. The latter could kill it with a single finger. Moreover, there were rumors outside that Jiang Tian was only at the early stage of Foundation Establishment, and that demonic qi had entered his body and caused him to be severely injured. There was no chance of winning at all. At this moment, the main hall of Green Hill was filled with heavenly music and jingling ornaments. The main hall of Green Hill was hundreds of acres wide, supported by jade pillars carved with dragons and phoenixes. Tables and chairs were carved from crystals, and the floor was paved with white jade. Ancient Tao patterns flickered on it, and dense waves of immortal qi were emitted. The top floor of Jade Well Peak was already considered luxurious, but compared to Green Hill Palace, it was much worse. It felt like a nouveau riche. At this moment, there were about 1,000 late-stage Foundation Establishment cultivators gathered here. It could be said that there were as many experts as there were clouds in the sky. Under the lead of the former abbot of Demon Suppression Temple, Master Shixiang, many senior monks had already entered the main hall and sat in the front row. In the front row, there were about a dozen experts, and their auras were the strongest. Some were blazing with flames, some were suffused with Buddhist light, and some had sword qi that pierced through the sky. Female Celestial Annihilation Desire, Shin Tej, Master Ashen Pine, and City Lord Ding Lai were all there. However, at this moment, City Lord Ding Lai's expression was solemn and nervous. He looked at the expert in golden dragon robes on the high platform, Li Longyuan. He sat upright on the golden dragon throne. His aura was like a dragon, and his majesty was overwhelming. When he opened and closed his eyes, they were bright and dazzling, as if stars were flickering. At this moment, he was like an ancient god, controlling life and death with his words. Ding Lai, you're in cahoots with the ants of earth. You're my enemy. Your crimes are unforgivable. Li Longyuan said coldly. However, as long as you realize your mistakes and sincerely correct them, I will be merciful and not kill you. Haha, what crime have I committed? Anger rose from Ding Lai's heart. He stood up and said coldly, Li Longyuan, answer me. Do you really think you're a god? Are all your actions right? I'm not a god. Li Longyuan shook his head and chuckled. If you're in the wrong, why can't you admit it? Ding Lai said coldly. My youngest daughter was only a few years old. Just because she said something bad about you, the feather guard executed her on the street. Is that reasonable? Emotionally, I'm heartbroken. After all, she's also my junior. Li Longyuan pondered for a moment, then slowly said, that's right. But in terms of righteousness, I've never regretted it. I don't think I've done anything wrong. He revealed a sorrowful expression and said in a low voice, the heavenly star Small World had already begun to decay when the demons invaded 1,000 years ago. Only when it's promoted to a level 3 small world of cultivation can we obtain a new place to live. I'm not plundering the world for me, Li Longyuan. I'm doing it for the billions of people. I'm doing it for the next 100 years, the next 1,000 years. My merit is unparalleled in 1,000 years. I'm the only one. His eyes gradually sharpened and he said coldly, after everything is done, it doesn't matter if the world hates me, blames me, or slander me. But before everything is done, no one is allowed to interfere. I can't mess with the people's hearts. He narrowed his eyes and said slowly, 2 days ago your sister, my cultivation partner, Ding Xuanyu, pleaded for you and Kong Teichu. She interfered in politics. Do you know what happened to her? Ding Lai suddenly had a bad premonition. He said coldly, what did you do to her? I took her head and made it into a cup of wine. Li Longyuan patted his storage bag, and a beautiful woman's head flew out. Fairy Xuanyu's face was extremely beautiful. Her pair of beautiful eyes were still open, full of despair and unwillingness. It was as if she couldn't believe that she was killed. The whole place was dead silent. Everyone was frightened and did not dare to look directly at him. Even the heartless Miayu felt a chill in his heart. His right hand that was holding the teacup trembled violently. Even the Master of Salvation, the profound Buddhist Master Shixiang, lowered his head and played with the prayer beads while chanting Buddha's name. You killed her. You actually killed her. You're worse than a beast. Ding Lai's eyes were about to split open, and he was about to go crazy. Ding Xuanyu was the most beautiful woman in Heavenly Star and a cultivation genius. She and Li Longyuan supported each other and slept on the same bed for more than 10 years. But he had actually been mercilessly killed by him. This is the result of doubting me. This is the result of disloyal people. Li Longyuan's expression did not change. He picked up the wine pot and poured the sweet and clear wine into his neck cavity. He grabbed the head of his beloved wife and slowly drank a mouthful of the wine mixed with blood. He said coldly, in this world, only my voice can be heard. My words are like gold and jade. No one can doubt me. The power of the world. Promote to a level 3 cultivation hidden sect at all costs. All of you must be unwavering and follow through to the end. Do not waver in the slightest. Ding Lai, do you know your mistake now? If you do, kneel. The last was very light. At this moment, Li Longyuan and Ding Lai were 100 meters apart. But to Ding Lai, this was like a clap of thunder in his ears. It shook his eardrums until they were buzzing. An enormous aura of a golden core cultivator pressed down on his shoulders like 10,000 mountains, causing the bones in his body to creak and his legs to tremble, almost collapsing and breaking. I won't kneel. I'm not wrong. Aren't you saying that water can carry a boat, but it can also sink it? Blood oozed out from the corner of Ding Lai's mouth. He shouted angrily, you're heartless and unscrupulous. Sooner or later, everyone will see your true colors and kill you. They will overthrow your tyranny. Water can sink a boat? Who can destroy me? You? Kong Teichu? Li Longyuan's face was full of disdain. He stood up and a violent wave of air pushed out. Li Longyuan shouted coldly, who does Kong Teichu think he is? He's just an ant on earth. You still think he's your master? You're short-sighted. Ding Lai, do you know that Kong Teichu has become the target of public criticism after killing Master Pudu? Miayu snorted. Even if he's a golden core cultivator, if he dares to come today, we'll tear him to pieces. The sect leader of the Quake Dance sect shouted. Kneel and admit your mistake. Many sect master-level experts shouted angrily. In an instant, everyone unleashed their true essence and put pressure on Ding Lai. Ding Lai trembled all over, and was about to kneel when he couldn't withstand the pressure. A violent sound wave struck like rolling thunder, shocking the 9 heavens and 10 enemies. It spread throughout the entire Qingqiu mountain. Kong Teichu has come to visit the mountain. At this instant, the entire scene became solemn. Everyone was dumbstruck, and it was deathly silent. Kong Teichu really dares to come? Chu Yunxiu's mouth twitched crazily as she looked at the figure in the sky. At that moment, Jiang Tian was wearing a plain long robe. His black hair was like a waterfall, and his eyebrows were sharp like swords. He looked handsome. He walked up the straight mountain path. He didn't look aggressive, as if he was an immortal who didn't belong to the mortal world. He's here to die. Chu Yunxiu's eyes were full of disdain and ecstasy. She was afraid that Jiang Tian wouldn't come, but she didn't expect Jiang Tian to come. There were thousands of perfected immortals at the Qingqiu Grand Festival, including the overlords of the heavenly star small world. Jiang Tian would be torn to pieces even if he was a golden core cultivator, not to mention that Jiang Tian didn't have that level of cultivation. How could he be invaded by Fin Qi? Brother Jiang really came. Qiao Yingluo was worried. Jiang Haishan and his son, Qiao Beishan, and the stinky monkey also felt their hearts sink. Why is he here? Why is he here? Didn't Dad tell him not to come? Yes, he must be worried that Dad is controlled by Li Longyuan, so he has to come. Ding Lingdang also couldn't believe it. She was in a panic and then tears came out of her eyes. Haha, he's just an ant from Earth. I'll kill him. I'll peel his skin and pull out his tendons, then cut him into pieces. Zheng Renwang roared and stood up. A surge of murderous aura rose to the sky. Haha, Kong Teichu has already been invaded by Fin Qi, and his cultivation is gone. Zheng Renwang is obviously picking up a soft persimmon. Yes, bullying someone who has lost his cultivation. Zheng Renwang is really shameless. A prodigy at the side laughed. But no matter what, Kong Teichu is still the #1 person on Earth. If Zheng Renwang kills him, he'll be recorded in history. Some overlords nodded and sighed at how cunning this kid was. Don't kill him. He should be here to receive his punishment. We should announce it to the world and kill him in front of everyone. Zhou Yunkai narrowed his eyes and looked at Jiang Tian, scanning him with his divine sense. He found that Jiang Tian's dantian was lifeless, and there was no true essence fluctuation. His cultivation was indeed gone. At this time, under the escort of a few feather uniform guards, the leader Li Zixing stepped out of the Green Hill Palace and landed in front of Jiang Tian. He glanced at Jiang Tian with disdain, then said in a cold and arrogant voice, Kong Teichu, if you want to plead guilty and live, show me your attitude and kowtow all the way to the Green Hill Palace. That you're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.